of an even match.
Well, going on stage now with Tommy, it's going to be 07 and Deja Vu.
I'm joined here by Wally Whiff and Foster. And let's just continue on that thread, though I think it's a bit mean. But how much easier is it to play against 07 than Apex?
I mean, Apex look like they're an RU team, so I think it's going to be a little bit easier.
I guess you're not offended by that comment?
Not at all. Not at all.
We heard Wally Whiff say that he's actually happy that they lost 7-0 instead of your loss because mentally yours is tougher. Do you agree with that? Do you wish that you lost 7-0 to Eclipse?
Definitely not, because then they're going to try and make fun of our namesake with that. Even though it is an O, it's not a 0. But, you know, whatever.
And I know you haven't had much time, but what did you guys talk about in these like 15, 10 minutes?
Honestly, I was trying to see if we could get more time, but these guys, they're ready. They're warmed up. They're ready to go. They want to just take it to 07. They were going over small things with strats, getting everything ready, eating some bars of food. I don't know what it was. I think it was Triscuits or some shit. But they're ready to go.
Sounds good. And we heard Metahawk mention that there were maybe some nerves, a little bit of the mental games in you for the semifinal. He said they should be gone now. You can tell me better. Are they gone?
I mean, personally, I was pretty nervous for like the first 2 battles, so I don't think I'm going to be jittery this time around. But, you know, we feel pretty good right now.
Let's get a handshake, and then let's get the tanks out there and go back to our casters.
All right, so interesting from Fossa saying that he didn't want to get 07, and I'm actually kind of with his mindset.
Well, and that gives them some confidence they can get up there and get some rounds, because if you're Deja Vu right now, at least in my opinion, you just got 7-0. It's just like you're sitting there like, we're not even good enough to get a round win, and you have to wonder if that's going to like seep into their confidence right
Yeah,
now.
but at the same time, I mean, Wally was right. It was like playing an RU team. Like, Apex looks unstoppable right now.
Yeah, but if you're Deja Vu, though, right now, let's say this match starts off, 2-0, 3-0 against you. Now, all of a sudden, you're sitting there, you've lost 10 rounds in a row. How much longer can you take that before truly being on tilt?
Yeah. I don't know. It's really tough to see. But overall, I feel like Deja Vu will do much better. And I feel like 07 will still also play very good and very well. It's just going to basically be up to these map picks and how they've been, historically speaking, on these maps that we're about to see.
Yep, and just to remind people, the last time these teams played, it was a 5-4 victory for 07 in overtime.
So
yeah. Historically, they have been a very close match. Now, we just have to wonder if the circumstances that today has brought is going to shape that battle up in a different way. So that's something that we just have to keep an eye on and see what happens. I think if Deja Vu can just play their game and play as solid as we know they can, then they can put up a good fight and even walk away with a win.
Sure.
07, they had some time. They had a break. They got up there, and they... Sorry, I'm just looking down at something. And they got stuff going. They... I totally just lost my train of thought, but they got things going, and they were kind of looking at things, and they went over, they looked at the previous match, they saw what they did wrong, they're making those adjustments, and so they've had that extra time that Deja Vu hasn't necessarily had right now. They just played their match.
Right, they just played their match, and now they have to go straight back into it with 07. I mean, Tommy said it, you guys only had like 10, 15 minutes, so...
Yep, so it's a lot less time. They can only sit up there on stage for a few minutes, talk about, major points that they don't have the time to go into the fine detail, to look at the replays, and see what the other teams did.
Yeah, especially in a battle like that. And then this is back from 07 versus Eclipse, the very first semifinal we had. And this was a very good cleanup from Eclipse. I mean, we saw here, I really like the play from EXO coming around, and unfortunately they took too much damage in doing so.
Yep, and if you look at it right here, just look at the positioning out of Apex. They have the guns over there controlling that 2-line, and all these guns in the courtyard. They have this little crossfire here between 50B of external coming in around on the south there, and the guys still in the courtyard, and they just were always in positions where they could really support each other.
Yeah, so you could argue that 07 won't play that well to an extent, but I still think 07 will play well, and this still should be a good match. Let's not forget that this is essentially a $10,000 money match between the teams. Fourth place getting $35,000, and then fourth place getting $45,000, as well as that third place spot being so important because that means you are an alternate.
You got that backwards, but yeah.
Oh, did I get that backwards?
Yeah, third place is $45,000, and fourth place.
No, it was the difference.
35.
No, you're right.
Yeah.
That would make absolutely no sense. Yeah, so third place is going to be getting $90,000, and first place getting $35,000. No, you're right. So it's 45 going to 3rd place, and then 35 going to 4th place. That was completely backwards.
Absolutely, and it looks like we're getting into the final countdown right now to get underway. Looks like we're running another test battle. Apparently there are some issues, so it'll be a few more minutes while they kind of sort out these last issues.
So predictions.
There are a lot of outline circumstances that can come in here right now. Coming off that 7-0 loss, if 07 play well in the first couple games, it may feel to Deja Vu like they're still playing Apex because they're just so down already.
I can see that.
But then just on the other hand, if 07 kind of play a little bit shaky, they kind of pick up some rounds. As soon as Deja Vu can start, sniffing the blood in the water, get some confidence back, and kind of find that instinct that we know they have, then I definitely could see them getting into this or even walking away with it as 7-0 themselves. It just depends on 07. 07 are a team that we have known can tilt. They did early in the season.
Yeah.
In fact, the first time they played Eclipse, they got 5-0'd. They were just completely, it was M60s. M60s over 07. They just completely ran over them. And 07 weren't able to get into the fight.
Yeah, I think that was the first game that M60s started to show their dominance before they, again, fell off a little bit.
Yeah, definitely. And so we know that both these teams have their ups and downs. They've at points played very poorly, and at other points they've played fantastically. In fact, the one that still sticks out to me is 07 versus Eclipse in the second round robin. 07 played phenomenal that
They
day.
crushed Eclipse. That's the only defeat that I've really seen Eclipse has taken that was just dominating.
Yeah, exactly. So we know that what 07 are capable of, but then today they just weren't able to hold on. They made a fight out of it. They got rounds where they could.
Sure, of course they did.
But they weren't able to really push Eclipse, I feel. And now we're still sorting out the last few issues, I think. Oh, no, we're starting the final 30 or 60-second countdown before we start. So we'll be underway in just one more moment. Now let's take a second. See your predictions. Where do you... Personally, right now, I think this will be 07. I think it'll probably be
I think 07...
I think a Deja Vu will get into it, but I think 07 will walk away.
I think 07 as well, but I think you're going to be really disappointed with my reasoning behind it. If you look at the stage, the way everything is set up, where did Apex and Eclipse play? What side?
Both on the left, on the red side.
And where is 07 playing right now?
On the red side.
On the left side.
Yeah, left
well, I
to
mean,
red.
Right. If you're standing on stage.
Yep. They're on the same side.
Yeah, they're on the same side as Eclipse and
So the question is, are
Apex.
you really that superstitious?
I don't know. At this point, it might be. Don't judge me. Yeah.
Well, we'll have to see.
We'll have to see. Honestly, it's up in the air. I think it's 50-50 chance. Let's get right into it. First map here between 07 and Deja Vu.
Himmelsdorf, a small city map. The teams start the battle in opposite corners. Both bases are located close to each other, but in a way that you can't stay on the defensive all the time. The main attack routes pass through the hill, the alley and the railroad, but in general, the attack can be successfully executed through any part of the map. Heavy tanks and tank destroyers with powerful guns run the show here. However, a lot depends on the mobile light tanks.
And the lineups coming in here, Deja Vu changing not a whole lot from their last time. 350Bs, 2 E3s, a 113, and that heavy 304 once again while on defense. Now, the double E3 is a new change, but everything else remains the same. Then looking at 07, bringing 2 113s, an IS-7, 350Bs, and a 1390. And it's going to be Deja Vu that once again are going to push pretty aggressively down the 1-2 line right now, try to get some map control. One of the E3s. Well, that's actually why. It was not a double E3 out of Deja Vu. It's an E3 and a bat chat, so a slight issue there with the graphic. So only one E3.
Okay.
And they still have the bat chat of Aggressor, who was able to get up on the hill last time and try to shoot down into the courtyard. These 50Bs pushing around in the south right now, and they're getting very aggressive as Deja Vu, and 07 are set up with a decent crossfire. Durgel taking some damage right now.
Not too much, though. Only taking about one shot a pen here. So, realistically, how much that's going to come into play, I mean, it's really hard to tell. It's the start of the game.
Yep, definitely. And the thing to look at here is Nationwide in that E3. He's so slow and vulnerable that he just has to stay at A5 pretty much. He can't really flex around to help the rest of his team. So if a heavy engagement starts down in the south, it's going to take him a while to get anywhere where he can really be useful.
This shoebox. I love it.
Yep, just flexing around, getting back into the north. They got a little bit uncomfortable with the presence that 07 had in the south right there, so they're backing up and just tucking back into the north here.
Oh, wait a second. The tension is so real. Is he going to take this shot?
Indirect hit.
Indirect. That's unfortunate. That could have been huge.
Well, you got to remember, it's a 304. It's going to do 70, 100 damage, not a whole lot.
70, 100?
70 or 100 damage, somewhere in that range.
Yeah, but that's still huge on a hold down IS-7. That's good damage.
Death by paper cuts, it'll take a while. The cap pressure for 07 is actually starting in the north, and Deja Vu aren't necessarily in the greatest position to receive it. Now, they have plenty of time because it's only static on the cap in that 113. And just this 150B, excuse me, it's not even the 50B, it's 1390 of Fosta just sitting here ready to cover him and get some lights.
Oh, as we have some cap pressure here, it's not much. Again, it's just static. I'm really curious to know what the strategy is coming out of 07, so let's go ahead and just get a listen in with that team.
It looks like they're pushing north.
Yeah, I agree. I'm gonna hold for a punish.
They're just sending the E3 across.
We're gonna get punished. We're gonna get punished.
Right.
Wait a second. Line it up. Line it up. He's facing 5 lane. He's
They
facing
they're stopping. Can we
Let's just take 1-2. Let's take 1-2.
He lit me.
Oh, 1-2? Okay.
Coming.
Yeah, they never saw me.
But if your mic is really quiet.
Really?
Can we have to get going now
Really,
for 1-2.
Yeah, we gotta
Else
go
they're gonna be
flex.
set up. There's
Everyone's
no
gotta
reason
flex.
for us to do
Everyone's
this. We're
gotta
not moving.
Cameron, you
I
gotta
can
move
hear
over.
you
Cam, you gotta shift over
like
to
your
here.
real life voice
Yep,
better
I'm
than your mic.
Exo, we're both going to that building, okay? They don't have a
Alright.
4005.
Yeah, they don't.
Yo, I'm gonna get off hill. We're all gonna stack 1-2 lane. All right, we're gonna give them all this basically.
Can we just go right out?
Yeah, go
I just
right
got
out.
spotted.
Go right out. Go right out. Go right out. Static. Just keep running.
No, come and get this bat, Mikkel.
Is he
Static.
gonna light
You
us?
gotta come this way, all right, and then up.
Yep.
I'll hold the corner here.
I have no shots. I have no shots.
Got it.
Mikkel's
Cam, we're
Harmless is-
I'm being shot
to get out of there.
50B fired 1.
What?
Thing.
We're getting absolutely.
We have a lot of 50Bs here, yeah.
Yeah, we're not
You
getting.
guys
I'm
need
getting
to push
far.
into here.
I don't know how they're hitting me.
I have nothing. No shots.
We can't move them.
Yo, 113 in the open. They're 50B fired 2. Harmless fired 2. I bounced both. I'm reloading. Guns broken.
I'm blinding.
Can I push up the courtyard?
Yeah.
I got ruined. They aren't
Hey,
just
Foster,
got
is there a
ruined
way
inside.
for you to pull back? Foster, I'm coming right behind you.
Anchor says 2.
Can you guys hear me right now?
Yes.
Okay, weird. I don't know. It's
I'm
not
going
like
to the courtyard 4th spot.
3 or 4
It's
shot.
bad, sure there's still.
Yeah, I'm gonna apply 2 cap pressure, just briefly.
They know we're here, right?
You
Yeah,
can maybe leave,
Maybe
honestly.
it'll fuck them up. I don't know.
Nice job, 113. Nice.
Should I leave?
No. This bat isn't a bad spot. We can shoot him under tracks with Cam.
Okay, we'll just ruin
Dude,
it.
careful, harmless.
Harmless fired
They have a
1.
Master Putin's still here.
I'm like in a kind of bad spot, honestly.
You can shoot me actually, I'm gonna pull back.
Harmless is looking for me. Yeah, I'm gonna try and peek to shoot that. Fuck.
Clipping.
That's another 50B down there shooting me.
Can't
Can I
go to the
poke-
corner. Yeah.
Harmless creeping. Can we kill him, Nicholas?
Yeah.
Can we kill him?
I'm spotted. No, he's spotted for Putin.
Fuck, dude. How did that...
Nice.
Getting fucking ruined here, guys.
Can our 50Bs rotate out?
Can you
maybe and go
rotate
Can
out?
we rotate
5?
50Bs at least? Yeah, maybe.
Maybe.
Please.
Maybe.
These bats ran
Harmless
away.
is so aggro. Aggressor ran. Makos, turn around. Turn around. Can you get out, Exo? Can you get out of our way?
Run away.
Dead. I'm dead.
Did you get lit or no?
Yeah, I got lit.
You'll be
Alright,
okay.
wait. I should go and you should stay, I think. He's like so aggro.
Yeah.
Bullshit.
Spotted.
Yeah.
113s have to maybe
dying.
join.
Yeah, I'm okay right now.
113s need to maybe start working middle.
Yeah.
Or,
I got lit again.
But then 50Bs are gonna get tried.
do you want me to go?
You want to get out of
113s
here,
to push
Lila?
8 line right now? So
Yeah,
we can
I do.
around
This
this 113?
E3, this E3 sort of
Let's go.
exposed. I mean,
Watch out. Okay. I got lit here.
Good luck, Mikos.
Can
I
we,
got lit crossing. Reloading, reloading.
Oh no.
3 minutes left. 3 minutes left.
yeah, it's not a lot of time.
How about we just slam our shit on cap?
Yeah, I think
Check out.
that's what we have.
Can we
Spotted
kill the
somehow.
E3 here? The E3 is
Wait,
still
do they
active.
have something on the hill? Because I got spotted.
No, they don't have anything hill. No.
They're gonna like push south
Oh,
on
E3 lit
us.
me. E3, oh, if E3 or 4
Anyone light him?
Can we light E3 or no?
Yeah, hang on.
I'm sorry, Mikos.
I got lit. I got lit.
I did not.
Yeah, I just got spotted by E3.
Let's see exactly just how slamming their stuff on cap is gonna work out. You know what I'm saying?
High 7 actually bouncing a shot off that lower plate of that E3. Lower plate that you at E3 can be difficult if you hit the wrong angle as well. But now they're going to push around, trying to find the isolation. They're down a good bit of HP right now, so they really have their work cut out for
I
them.
gotta say though, right now the crossfire coming out of Deja Vu is so impressive that I mean, you heard it in 07. It's just frustration. They have everything covered, and it's looking like a Deja Vu victory here.
Well, it was just a very good read. Well, it was a decent read out of Deja Vu. They felt like they were working in the south, so then they backed out. Then they felt like they had pushed a bunch of tanks up into the north, and so they got back in a position to control the 1-2 line, and 107 backed out of the north to try to retake the 1-2 line to start working it. Deja Vu were just set up in position ahead of time, had the lanes already ready to go, just started decimating tanks. They put EXO down to 393, which is what he's on now. Ledef also took a good bit of damage, and they just couldn't really find a way in. Now they're still only down by about 1,000, and they have a minute 30 to work with, but just overall they're not in a great position right now as a team, and they need to get their guns together. They need to try to find some sort of isolation and kill everything within the next minute and a half.
It's looking like a very dire situation, although there is only one tank down for 07. They have Makos, who is essentially dead, and EXO, who is right behind him. And still some pretty healthy tanks here on the side of Deja Vu. Shots coming into Ledef. Wait a second. They might just make this lead even bigger. There it is. Aggressor is going to find Ledef. Warbandor is going to kill Aggressor, but then the trade's coming out, My Little Putin, and there it is. Deja Vu is going to take the very first battle here between these two teams in the 3rd to 4th place series.
This isn't entirely over yet. I mean, it's highly unlikely. Makos is down to 17 HP. Warbandor has all it's left, but these 50Bs are now loaded. They're just going to push around. And the E3 is just going to push around for the final shot into that 113 and take him out. And these 50Bs at this point are just going to go play cleanup. Combined 410 HP left between two tanks.
I'm surprised Makos lasted until the very end.
Well, I'm surprised EXO lasted as long as he did, despite being caught out when they made that second push onto the train tracks. He lost almost all his HP at that point.
Yeah.
Managed to live for that long. And so, Deja Vu, finally get their first win in a round win at the live finals. Only took 8 games.
That's rude, but also very true. Well, you said that, and just looking at the damage here, I mean, 3,300 out of Dergil, and then Harmless right behind with 31, and then Nationwide 25. Very good spread here coming out of the young team.
Yeah, they did pretty well through that whole series. The 304 really wasn't able to really get into that fight, but he didn't need to through that whole match. He could just sit back and not really have to do a whole lot.
So what do you think 07 could have done better there?
I felt like they were kind of second-guessing themselves a little bit. They kind of started off a little hesitant in the south, then they flexed around to the north, see if they could cap, and then they didn't feel like that could work, so they flexed back down to the north or into the south, and that's when they got caught out. And I think if they had just had a more decisive game plan early on, know what they want to do, and just had the will to just execute it, I think it could have played out better for them. But just look at the damage here. Dergil 3,300, Harmless, Nationwide, Malaput, all doing good damage. And the top of the team for 07 is EXO, who is the one that also got isolated really early on and wasn't really able to get into the fight. And if he's top on your team for that game, then you know there's a problem overall. And then Fosta down there not really able to be effective, only getting one shot off, or one shot of damage over 4 shots fired. And then Chase Potato, like I said, wasn't really able to do a whole lot in the 304, which in the situations they were in, it really wasn't a problem. He just sat there blind firing cap, tried to spam out the whole down IS-7 a little bit, tried to do some damage. But really, the most you're doing is maybe some module damage or just an annoyance at that point. If you can keep peppering them, it's going to take a lot of shells from a 304 to work down an IS-7.
You got to wonder. I really want to know if we're going to see, and this is what I'm about to allude to, you got to wonder what type of strats we're going to see out of 07, especially towards the later part of the series.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and you have to wonder if now Deja Vu may have some confidence going, if they can get another couple wins, then we might start to see the old Deja Vu.
Snowball on 07, yeah.
Exactly.
Exactly. Ah, I see what you did there. It's real cute, James.
Glad he thinks it does.
All right, let's go right into these lineups here between these two teams. Deja Vu is going to be bringing 350Bs, 2 113s, a grill, and a 1390. Not too unsurprising there. And then 07, a 50B, 2 113s, an IS-7, 250Bs, and a 1390. So pretty standard tank lineups coming out for these two teams, especially for this map. I mean, this is nothing really that unexpected.
Yeah, definitely, I agree. Now, the grill is not a surprise, but definitely an oddball.
We would usually see like a 183 in place of it, or even like a 4005.
We've seen a grill a few times up on the hill, but more often than not, teams tend to go for those 4005s or the 183s, like you said, if not a batch out or a TVP. So definitely an interesting change. We'll see how it plays out for them. Meanwhile, 07 going with the same opening strat they ran earlier. They're taking aggressive control down the 1 lane right now. Fosta is just up at the north, spotting and waiting for some sort of push to come out. And Deja Vu doing pretty much what 07 did, just setting it up hard in the south, waiting for an early rotate. Nothing really going on for either team. They're just kind of posturing at this point. 07 just holding firm on the 1-2 line right now. Now, they do have 3 tanks left in the north, so that there is the risk of being one of these groups being overmatched if they're not too careful. However, they're close enough right now that they could flex down there pretty quickly if they needed to. And that would also imply that Deja Vu went for a south push, which at this point I don't think they have any reason that they'd really want to go for it. Cavendor just looking at that gap right there, hoping that grill pops up. Or he can get a shot off. He should also
Chase might around that corner, yeah. Aggressor has been lit by Warbanner. Damage has been traded to both tanks here. Just a near miss there out of Warbanner.
Well, both these 113s are shooting through extremely tight gaps.
It's a tough gap to actually get a pen.
Yeah, well, Warbander's sitting on the other side of that building over there, shooting through some broken rubble and some pieces of wood over on top of each other. And it's even harder for Aggressor because he has to shoot through that same gap at a much longer range, where it's right in Warbander's face. So it's really easy for him to know where to shoot, where Aggressor just kind of has to hope that the shell goes right where it needs to. See exactly that. Just look at that tight little shot.
Oh, and I think he made it through, but the movement there through Warbanner actually saved his life from that grill doing massive amounts of damage if it penned. Okay. You can see how tough it is to get that shell there.
It's such a little little angle that you have to get that shot through, and it's extremely difficult. And they're hoping they can get some free damage onto Warbanded. But the problem is the clock's already down to around 6 minutes at this point, so they need to make a play in the, in the
maybe
near
this
future.
actually the switch of angles might help out Deja.
Another shot, fires it off, still not able to get through. It's such a narrow gap. He just hasn't been able to hit it yet.
Yeah, it's tough. At this point, though, you also have to remember that the time is 5 minutes and 50 seconds here. It does favor 07 being on defense. And that being said, why don't we take a listen in here and see exactly what the strategy is for Deja Vu.
No, I got spotted.
Yes, okay, I understand.
Watch out.
They can be waiting for us, but I'm not sure.
Should we cross and go like A-line?
Yeah.
No, like, leave like harmless up top.
Okay, okay, okay.
Not.
Okay. Starting. There's a 50B back there.
Go A7 camp, go A7 camp.
Oh my god.
Harmless.
I don't know how to hit that shot.
I have 17. If they don't have anyone at A5, it's easy. It's easier. Путин, откатись сюда, okay?
Да, я уже.
You know, they can just push into our 113s and we'll lose our 113s.
Grill control.
Yeah, I would punish that.
Nation, come back out. Nation, come out. Come out to where, like, back here with me now.
You sure?
Oh, fuck.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm 100% sure.
We gotta group up.
Hold on, guys. What can they realistically do?
Durjo has no
North
HP.
is shut down.
50Bs
This line is the only one coming in here. Don't let him in this line.
rotate.
No, they have two 50Bs out here and out here. 50Bs are out of the fight.
Honestly, you should just sit behind Chase because that's their. Like, I can't spot because there's 113s in the window.
Harm, can you maybe take the hill instead and let me go down there? Because I have no health. I can't even poke anything.
Chase.
They're watching that corner though, Durjo.
That's okay. I'd rather. Yeah, but you're gonna get hit like just as much as I would.
Yeah, I know, but
if they flank me up there, I'm screwed.
I'm just letting you know. Do not peek that.
Don't poke it.
What's this 113 doing?
You are
Upper
poking
113,
right
what's
now.
his
Clear
doing?
hole. Back up.
I'm watching this.
Yeah,
Move
aggressive.
up.
They could come down
I'll
7
move
more.
back.
Okay. I wonder if we're going through the hill. Should we go up north?
No reset, guys. They'll poke one more time. No reset. Путин, готовься, давай.
I'm gonna come up north to help.
Exo's down.
No. There's 3 tanks.
They
still
will
missing.
get
Just hold it.
rid
Just hold it. Just hold it.
Dude, I'm just useless now.
There you go.
I'm moving.
Okay, yeah, go now. Now you're good. Now you're good.
I'm gonna try and help you out here. Harm.
Warbander's gonna get it.
Warbander can't have the...
I'm coming to you. I'm coming to you.
You got it. Let it.
Harmer, you gonna be okay up there?
No, he's gonna get me.
Okay.
Okay, we lost 90. We need to concentrate killing these guys.
We need to concentrate killing these guys now.
He's still got shots, Durjo.
Alright.
I'm clipping.
Someone help me.
Just wait for him. Just
Yeah,
wait for him to poke over. Do not get proxied.
And 3 tanks just down like that.
Well, just very decisive out of 07. They kept it tight. They covered the angles every time Deja Vu poked. They punished them. They were up by about 4,000 HP, and then once Deja Vu decided to try to make a play, 07 was just sitting there ready for them and pushed in and cleaned them up.
And doing so without losing a single tank. Very well played to 07 there.
And it looks like there will be a sub being made here, maybe, or there's a technical issue. Not sure what that's about. However, that ties it up 1-1 after our first map. And the second map that we'll be going on to will be Muravanka, which is a map that 07 have been playing very well recently. However, they slipped up on it a bit earlier, and Deja Vu were not able to get anything against Apex on the map. So,
well, I mean, you could argue that on every map they played against them, but
fair point.
But I see what you are alluding to. I understand.
Yep, 25 shots fired in a 50B. How many clips is that?
Well, you do the math. You have
4 shots in a clip.
4 shots per clip.
Yep.
I'm not going to attempt to do the math.
Six,
when I said you do the math, I wasn't trying to do the math myself.
Oh, I thought you were trying to walk through it. Yeah.
No, I don't want.
He got onto his 7th clip, which in a 50B, that's a lot of shots to be firing and reloading constantly.
Oh, yeah.
It now provided a good portion that was most likely blind fire up on the hill towards Deja and then later Harmless. But still, that's a lot of time to spend reloading. Looking at it, down here also, Chase Potato not really able to do anything on the 1390. Deja also got lit up and lost almost all his HP after doing just 1 shot of damage. Fired a good bit towards Warbander, but wasn't able to get any connections. Just to find out exactly how many. Deja fired 11 times and only had 1 connection through that whole series. So kind of tells you about how his luck was going. And once again, like 6 of those were through that tiny little window he was trying to hit it.
He was really trying to hit a hard angle. You can't really fault him for that. I respect the fact that he even tried to hit that angle. It was possible. It was just difficult. I mean, watching just the first 2 games, I feel like this is a series that can definitely go the distance.
Oh yeah, definitely. These teams seem to be pretty evenly matched. Deja Vu seemed to be recovering a little bit after the loss to Apex. And 07, if they've had an Achilles heel all season, it always has felt like they're just kind of short on confidence a little bit. That they show a lot of moments where they look good. Yeah, 07.
Yeah, I agree with you.
They show 100%. A lot of moments where they look very good.
Even Meadow said so himself. There's times where they just lack that that confidence to go in when they know they're a good team.
Yep, exactly. Just that killer instinct to put a round out. And now this game, they did a great job. They put themselves in a good position, and when it was time, they made decisive push to clean everything up. When as it should. However, the problem is it's not always the case. They throw away some advantageous positions occasionally. And then, like that first round we saw, they just kind of blindly pushed towards the 1-2 line and assumed the tanks wouldn't be there anymore and bled so much HP. I believe Exo's exact words were, "We got wrecked." So definitely have some more work to do. And now we're going to move on to, like I said, to Muravanka. And it's going to be 07 that are going to be on defense first.
Yep. So speaking of which, let's go ahead and head into the second map here between Deja Vu and 07.
Muravanka, a map with a great number of buildings, bushes and trees, amongst which teams hide for most of the battle. The attacking team begins the battle from the top of the village, and the defenders start from the bottom of the map. Both bases are better controlled from the hill near the first base, and from the green in the lower left corner of the map. There are many attack directions. The attacking team often attempts to gain the attention of defenders by putting pressure on the first base, whilst manoeuvring several tanks behind the second base to deliver fire into the defending's flank. Team setups are very diverse, but the players often choose the fastest tanks, even for heavy setups. They could even bring SPGs.
All right, so 3 bad shots, an I-7, a Gorilla TVP, and a 251 coming here out of Deja Vu. And then on side of 07, we're going to see a T57, an IS-4, 3 bad shots, and 2 IS-4s, 3 bad shots, and then a 1390.
Yep, but it's actually 07. They're sitting on defense right now, bringing those IS-4s. Kind of interesting. It's going to be a real lack of mobility they're going to have. But they're actually going to use the bat shots to try to push Makos in that IS-4
I
over
respect
there
it.
Quicker. Get him up that hill, and he can get over there to that hold down in case some sort of bizarre push came out of Deja Vu down the 1 line very early. However, they did the exact opposite thing. They grouped up, they went over to the forest, and they pushed down the 9 line right now. And they're just sitting here. They don't know where Fosta is. And Fosta's actually in a pretty unique bush, I guess you could say. It's not one that we've seen a whole lot. Chase just poking around.
Yeah, and he's also lit, so he's got to be very careful. He did get tagged with quite a few shots, which has now put him at 321 HP left.
And blind fire going out towards Deja and the tanks in the south for Deja Vu right now. Some counter blind fire, which is rather interesting. Also trying to tag up Chase Potato, who's now safe at this point. And it's actually 07 that are counter-pushing through the south right now with the bat chats. Getting down there, they're trying to catch some of these tanks out, maybe trying to find Harmless or Chase Potato. Deja Vu not really in a position to really support anyone down here in the south, and now Harmless is lit. But those tanks from 07 have backed off. They've ruined their element of surprise, and now they need to just get out of there and leave.
My little Putin is trying to get shots off. You'll get tagged as well, and there is just Harmless. You're right, down there south, all alone in the woods.
And they're actually leaving Warbandor there just to be a passive. Well, not even passive. He's going to poke around, and they need to be careful he doesn't get caught out. The only saving grace that Warbandor has right now are those tanks that are sitting up at G5, G4 on top of the hill there. They'll have shots if he's able to light anything that gets close enough, and he can drop down into the low ground and stay relatively safe unless a push comes onto him. And Static's also in the south, has a clean line of sight over him. But for right now, he's doing enough just to be a thorn in the side of Deja Vu. They're bleeding a little bit of HP everywhere, and it's 07. They're just starting to build up a nice little HP lead. And you have to remember, they started out with a lot more HP. As I say that, nationwide.
Oh, nationwide. Taking 2 consecutive shots and a third, luckily not penning. As Commodore now bounces a shot again, the IS-7 armor is quite exceptional.
Yep, so is IS-4's, but now you have a TV-7 with a full heat clip.
And there he goes.
Cleans up nationwide. And this is 07's game to lose at this point. They're up by about 3,000 HP. They have the extra gun alive, being a tier 10. Chase Potato has a dead gunner. He's a one-shot HP-wise in the RU-251, so he can't really contribute a whole lot. Harmless is lit in the south again. Fosta in that bush. That is such an ingenious little bush. We haven't actually seen that so much this season. Extremely close to cap. Not a bush a lot of people are going to check. Now, it's a little bit risky, but Deja Vu are choosing not to play towards the south end of that village, so there's no one even close enough to proc slide them.
This is correct, and now in this advantageous position, let's go ahead and check in with 07 and see how they deal with the rest of the tanks from Deja Vu.
Up a full tank. Like, if anything, you need to swing back.
Nice.
I'm gonna fall asleep, dude.
Oh.
Did we just hit someone for HP?
No.
Okay.
Oh, man.
Your bush is almost dead. Honestly. Who shot that?
Oh, he's tracked.
No shells. I don't even render any of them.
I wonder who
they're gonna be rotating north. Do you want to rotate Fosta back to G1?
Yeah, where's the listening?
It's probably listening to this.
Or Mako, sorry. Do you want Mako's going back to G1 right now before they rotate all the way around the map?
Yeah, I can.
What are they doing?
Reload.
We have no vision 1, 2, 3 line, by the way.
Here, go.
Zero vision 1, 2, 3 line.
They can figure it out, dude.
I'm reloading.
Yeah, you better move it back here.
Let's.
I'm going here, but I think the IS-4 should rotate back over here.
Yo, Morgan, I'm dropping back to a different bush.
One of the fours is going back. I'm staying here, right?
Yeah, you're here, man. I'm gonna back you up because they could try to just run Fosta.
Yeah,
I see you backed up. Yeah, I see you backed up.
There it is.
There it is.
They can try going like, oh, there you go. You have enough tanks here. I'm gonna stay here, okay?
Yeah, it's the IS-4 back out
Good
wide.
shots.
Yeah, I'm out here.
Warbandor,
shots.
just shift to the group. Oh, I guess you can stay. We're up so
he's
big.
fine. He's fine. Like they're throwing.
Yeah, you have like
such.
you have a crossfire up there.
They told him to hold W and suicide.
We're up so big.
He didn't even get into my shots, dude. I have like a whole square of shots, and he didn't even make it.
They had to have given up or something.
What can they do?
Tilted?
Like, they just
No, well,
This is classic Muro, dude. It's cancer. It's complete cancer. They didn't find the bush.
Okay, I thought they were gonna have 2 tanks here covering the IS-7, but they had nothing.
No, yeah, they had nothing.
Like, okay.
No, they wouldn't even have punished us because the IS-7 died before
Grill
GP
was
did.
like in a weird spot, whatever. They had TVP, bro.
Mako's, I'm gonna
07 making their thoughts about Muravanka very, very clear there.
Yeah, absolutely.
But they're playing it textbook right now. They've slowed the match down every time Deja Vu poked up in one place or another. They punished them very well. They've knocked down 2 tier 10s. They have no idea where Fosta is. Fosta only recently left that bush to reposition to another one. Just because it's so late in the game, they don't have to risk it. So he got out of there while he could, and he's just backed up in a different bush now. So even if they do try to push into the south end of that town, they won't find him. So all the time they spent blind firing the bush he's sitting in right now, they're going to think there's no one there. And little do they know, he's just moved into it now. And they're just going to be confused beyond, well, just even more confused than they were initially at this point.
You're right. I'm curious, watching this, what are your personal thoughts on Muro?
It is a defensively heavy map. It is very hard to attack. I think the biggest thing about it is just the cap circle placement. I think if you move the cap circles around a little bit, could make it a bit more interesting. moving the 2 cap further east and moving the 1 cap back down into the south a bit further. I think just a slight change to the cap circles could make it a bit more interesting, but with the way it's set up right now, it relies heavily on spotting and understanding the spotting and camo mechanics. And when you don't do your homework and you don't have a solid system to blind fire bushes, it becomes very hard. Now earlier, Apex showed us exactly that they have those skills mastered. They know how to clear for passive scouts, and they can make those attacks look easy. But when right now Deja Vu's struggling, they couldn't find Fosta, and there's so many bushes to check, and they didn't have any sort of system to finding him, and they just couldn't get it done. So, I think, especially for newer teams, I think it's a very, very heavily defensively sided map.
Fair enough. So, in asking that question now, I'm going to ask you another question, a follow-up, if you will. What is the best way, in your opinion, to break a defense on this map?
That's an interesting question. It requires a lot of patience, and it requires there are 2 ways you can go about it. If you have the ability and the coordination to find those passive scouts, and you can do it every time reliably to get those passive scouts down or make them move at least, then sitting there in the 2 cap, making them push guns out in the open where you can punish them, is a great option. However, it's an extremely hard skill to master. Very few teams can do it, as we've watched Deja Vu have been struggling with that very thing, and they're one of the top 4 teams in North America right now, just because they're here. And if you can't do that, then you have to go for the 1 cap. You need to go with some heavy tanks, and you need to keep your guns together, and you just need to be willing to say go when it's go time and go over and take an engagement. And that's your best bet, is just to overwhelm a passive defense and hope that they have something out of position.
Gotcha. I mean, it sounds very difficult to do. I mean, even if your team is coordinated, because of the way the layout is, it can be very difficult.
Yeah. Now we've been giving Deja Vu a hard time so far just because of the performance against Apex, but this round, defense on Muro, it's no easy task, or an attack on Muro. It's no easy task, and 07 played this extremely well, and they kept switching things up just here or there. They had a lot of tanks, heavy tanks anyways. Those IS-4s, they were extremely hard to chew through, constantly blind firing things in the south. It just made it very, very difficult for Deja Vu to move, but didn't come.
What's happening?
Why Static hasn't just shot him at this point?
He actually didn't have his clip. He just reloaded that clip. I
Interesting.
promise. All right, so 2-1 lead.
2-1 in favor of 07.
Still playing fairly well. 07 is up a game, and now that means that they're... Oh, look at the laughing there. Look at the laughing there. I like it.
It's the first time we've seen 07 really happy all day.
That's true. That's actually very true. Even when they had taken rounds and gained some momentum off of the clips earlier in the first semifinal, they still were not, very happy with what was going on.
Yep, and look at the damage here. EXO in that bat chat, 4,000 damage. And then Aggressor doing 3,100, which is not bad. 37 shots fired in a TVP. Once again, the whole math thing. 4 shells into 37.
Yeah.
That's 9.5 clips he went through. That's ridiculous.
That's a lot of clips.
Now, it's a TVP, so it's a bit quicker than the bat chat, but still, that's a lot of blind fire. Static, Warbander, Letif, all doing decent. 407, and then Harmless, the next best on Deja Vu, and then Fosta sitting down there with just under 800 damage, and actually these IS-4s, 407, really weren't able to get into the fight, but they didn't need to. And the thing that I actually really want to check, I'm going to pull up here real quick. Fosta spotted 6 that game and did 4,000 assistance damage from just being that passive scout the whole game. So he did his job.
And that just proves also, I mean, not only it's a nod to Fosta, doing tier 8 light things and being that type of player for his team as well as being the caller, but also that goes to show how ridiculously difficult it is for the offense on Muro.
There are just so many bushes in the south there that you can put a tank like a 1390. We've even seen at some points, we've seen RHMs used. The Tier 8 German tank destroyer, put a camo net on that thing. It's near impossible to find. And same with the 1390 or a Object 416. And so they just change up which push, and as long as you change it up and you don't do the same thing, you can make it not near impossible to find, but you can make it pretty damn hard.
Yeah, it can be very difficult. Yeah, I agree. So it is now 07's turn to be on offense here on Muro.
Yep, and the lineups here out of both teams are, well, out of 07 are pretty interesting. Deja Vu's running a fairly standard defensive lineup for what they normally do. 07 coming in here with 2 T57s, an IS-7, 2 Batchets, and 2 Tier 9 Batchets. Deja Vu coming in with a 215B, an E5, 4 Batchets, and a Crusader SP. So once again, switching to the Crusader SP over the 304. Now the one thing I don't know, which I'd have to check, because it doesn't really make a whole lot of sense, is the only benefit to bringing the Crusader SP over the 304 that I can think of is that because of the chassis that the gun is on, despite being the same gun between the two tanks, the Crusader changes the characteristics where it can shoot a little bit further with a lower arc, and then for a map like Himmelsdorf with the 304, it has a higher arc with a shorter range, which is why it works.
Gotcha.
So I'd have to check, though. I'm not positive on that one. And Mactap Putin gets caught out and deleted already. What static?
Ridiculous. That wasn't even before the first minute of the game had transpired, James.
He just got caught out in that Tier 9 Batchat. Deja Vu played very aggressive in the south. And now the heavy tanks, 407, are just going to push onto Cap right now. They're just trying to pick off Durgil, and they should actually be able to find Durgil here pretty soon. These 257s just dropping their clips into him. Commodore should be able to find the kill shot here.
Yeah, Durgil taking so much damage, but so has Commodore. Things are going back and forth very hectically, which I think would be a perfect time here for a listen-in with Deja Vu.
Where's Batches going? Call, please.
You're living going mid. Come here now, nation. Push all this. Push all this right here on top. Listen to me. This shot needs to come to the ridge right now on this backside right now. Okay. And then we're getting Nation and Mira on clear like this, all right? And then we're going to get the RD to reset. Use spot, all right?
Be careful, man. 57s are loaded.
Don't push in. We're not pushing. I'm not pushing. Resetting for the RD.
All right.
I'll just farm
Nation,
them.
I'm drawing in front of you right now.
Yeah, just farm some mid, guys. Relax.
Easy.
Pull to this side. Put them into our batch.
They're probably just going to push. They're pushing up. Get our bats a little bit closer after you guys start farming. Get Exo. Push it. Nice.
Rest are dumping right now.
Faster? Let if it's empty. Just go faster.
I have 2.
Alright.
Deja Vu just doing what they needed to do to close out that round. Kept it composed, said, all right, guys, don't panic. Just get your shots off. Pretty often when they just say farm, it's pretty much just sit where you are, sit at distance, get the free damage off while you can. Not a whole lot of work you have to do other than aim slightly and click your left mouse button. Get the job done, and now it's just all down to Letif against the 5 remaining tanks for Deja Vu. He gets focused out, and down he goes right. Took a little bit longer than I thought it would.
I noticed that. All right, so again, maybe Deja Vu playing very well, or maybe it was Muro being incredibly easy to defend on. Regardless.
Both defenses won both times, 2 completely different styles.
Yeah.
But defense won out.
So now we look to the third map as we are tied here 2-2.
And the third map is actually going to be Prokhorovka.
Interesting. Tell me a little bit about the history on Prok for Deja Vu in 07.
So 07 on Prok, 3-9 on the season. Their offense 1-5. So they kind of struggle with
for
that
07?
in general. That's for 07. Their defense is only slightly better at 2-4. But just a map that they overall have struggled on all season. And we'll get back to that in just a second. Letif, 4,500 damage in that T57. That's not bad at all, despite being on the losing end. And no one else on his team was above 1,700 damage because they're all on the second page. Harmless, Nationwide, Milo Putin, Magtap, Durgil, Aggressor. All sitting there, all getting good, consistent damage off, doing their work. And then the rest of the guys for 07 on the second page here, no one really able to get into the fight. And then poor little Static didn't even get to fire his gun once during that game. Just got deleted in the first minute. I don't even know what
happened to that poor tank.
It looks like he was trying to push through the north end of the village. He got caught out by the Batchats up on top of the 4-line ridge. They were being a little bit aggressive. He thought he was safe, and all of a sudden he got tracked and just lit up by 6 guns for
yeah, that'll do it.
Deja Vu.
That'll definitely do it.
And now looking at things right now, getting back to what we were talking about, Deja Vu on Prokhorovka, 9-7, so a bit above 500 essentially.
At least they're positive. Well, essentially positive.
Yeah. So they're a bit more comfortable on Pro. Not necessarily one of the maps that they're known for. We haven't seen a whole lot out of this.
That's true.
From them.
True.
4-4 on attack, 5-3 on defense. So
yeah, that's. I'll tell you what. Statistically, much better than 07.
Yeah, exactly. And so as long as they play their game and do what they've been doing all season, they should come out the better here. Now, if 07 have put in more work and have an idea what they want to do, maybe they can pick it up.
All right, well, let's head right on over to Prok here, the third map between Deja Vu and 07.
Prokhorovka, one of the first maps in the game. Teams start at the regular spawn points as they do in standard battles. Bases are separated from each other by the railway, so the defending team has to choose whether to send their vehicles to the left side, playing them in the center, or to the right of the railway, occupying the hill and a part of the village. The attacking team usually attacks the first base. However, the teams often go for face-to-face confrontations, 7-on-7, in the hilly terrain at the center. That's why both teams frequently use vehicles with good gun depression angles and sturdy turrets.
So to quote Clutch, we have a mirror matchup coming in. 2 113s, 4 Batchats, and an RU-251 for each team. It is Deja Vu on defense right now. Setting up, not identical to how 07 did earlier, but pretty close. They're actually pushing very aggressively down the 7 lane. I take that back. The 113's pushing straight over the middle. We may see an engagement here very soon because it looks like Deja Vu are just going for a very aggressive push. They're going to take control of the 7 line, looking for that brawl. The 113's pushing straight towards the middle as well, hoping to catch someone out or just start some sort of fight right off the bat. Ledif in the south sees the push coming through and is choosing to leave before anyone's in position to do anything about it. Chase Potato pokes over, does light Ledif, but none of the guns are in position to put any shots onto him. As I say that, he actually starts taking some damage from the middle ridge of those 113s. Now Harmless and Aggressor lining up.
Yeah, Ledif now is getting focused out.
He's tracked, he repairs.
Oh, is he gonna get away? No! Harmless is gonna finish it off. Absolutely.
And a free tank just gifted to Deja Vu. Very aggressive push down the 7-8 line. I think half my enjoyment in this match has just come from just looking up and looking over at Meadowhawk, who's just sitting on the couch squirming right now every time anything good or bad happens. Just watching his face is hilarious. I digress though. And now Deja Vu resetting. They're pulling their Batchats back into the north. Just Fosta on the cap 407. The rest of the guns sitting over on the 2-3 line. In the high ground trying to do what they can to salvage this round and cover Fosta. However, they're down to tier 10. Things are not going to be looking good for them.
Movement coming straight out of Deja Vu, going right towards that 1 cap is where you're going to see a confrontation here momentarily.
Aggressor's just going to push up and over. They're going to focus out Static.
And Static so low already. Static is going to fall now. Harmless still in a dangerous position. He's going to go down to Kamador. As now we see the push from Aggressor and Maktab Putin coming onto Makos. Is he going to fall? He is.
And Warbander ammo racks Aggressor. Kamador does pick up My Little Putin, and all of a sudden this isn't as easy as Deja Vu thought it was going to be.
Right.
It's a 4v3. Most of the guns for 07 alive, still in a decent position. The 2 Batchats are reloading, and they're going to choose to focus out Kamador right now, which is the smart choice since he's the consistent fire tank. Down to 19 HP. He goes down. And now it should be Deja Vu's round to clean up at this point. Looks like Exo's about to get off his clip, but Warbander's still only halfway through it. Maktab Putin is going to beat him to the reload. He's just going to drive straight up the 2-3 line parallel to him and just wait to be loaded. Picks up the kill, and now it's just down to Exo.
which
just got into his clip, but it's not going to be enough.
Yeah, there's no way.
Throughout the season, I've talked about snowball effects. When one bad thing happens, it can just snowball very quickly. And that's pretty much exactly what happened here. They got the free pick onto Ledif, went for the climb that we saw at T1 Diabetic earlier in the south. Once they saw that push coming, he tried to run, but they were in position to light him. He couldn't get across that K line soon enough. And the guns in the middle there, the 113s, and the bad shots in the south, were just able to sit there and pick him off before he could get to cover, and it's a free tier 10 down. I don't want to say it was completely needless, but I think there are better ways to go about what they were doing than the way that happened. Chase picks up the ram to finish off EXO. And that makes it 3-2 in favor of Deja Vu.
Yeah, and I almost can guess that this lead is going to be swapping over and over again between these two teams. Again, this is probably going to be the most even series that we've had so far today, aside from, you could argue, the finals, which are coming up after this.
Yep. Now, another thing I want to point out here is earlier I talked about 07 lacking that confidence, that killer instinct at times, where they're just kind of indecisive. Even though they have the lead, they kind of hesitate a little bit. They slow down going into things. What I like about what Deja Vu did there is they got the pick. They said, all right, we're in the driver's seat, and they just went for it. Now, it was a little bit risky, but they understood we're at free tier 10 up. We took no damage for it.
Yeah.
They drove straight up and over. They cleared the tanks off a cap, and they just pushed straight into them, just one tank after another. And while 07 did a good job to punish them, they were still down a tier 10 to begin with before that can get started. So it was essentially a 6v7 from, a minute into the game, and at that point, Deja Vu just exploited the extra gun. Just look at the damage here. Durzel and Nationwide in those 113s, just able to keep their guns firing, 2600 and 2400. And Warbandor, EXO, and Commodore, able to do what they can, all doing 2100 apiece, but not enough. Chase Potato in that RU-251 doing some respectable damage.
Can we talk about that for a moment?
Yep, but then poor little Ledif, once again, he fired one shot, wasn't able to do a whole lot, didn't land, and as we said, he got caught out early on, so it's a tier 10, not doing any damage, not really able to be a factor. It's almost like he didn't load into the battle to begin with to a certain extent. The only thing he gave him through that whole match was the lights on those tanks pushing down the 9-0, but then you have to sit there and ask, is having those lights on the 9-0 line worth costing a tier 10?
And the answer to that is, I want to say 10 out of 10 times is going to be no.
Yep. Now, I get the predicament they're in because they have to put their scout tank somewhere. And to them, they view it as it's more important to put him towards the 1-2 line or towards the middle, get some more intel that way. And so they left Fosta over there, and they needed to use another tank to try to cover the south. Now, you can play the assumption game where you go, all right, we're going to scout one side, and by what we gather over there, we'll assume that they're not in a different place, so let's just scout out in front of us. If we find them, great. If we don't, then we'll push in, and we know that they're most likely coming behind us, and then you kind of flex around based on that. But they decided to play it safe and try to have two different scouts and use the bat chat for it. But it's risky. It can backfire, and that's exactly what happened.
Well, now seeing the lineups from 07 on defense, they are going to have 4 bat chats, an E5, an IS-7, and a 1390. And we are going to see a 140, 113, 3 bat chats, 2 113s, and a 251 out of Deja Vu here on offense. Oh, and we might see an early brawl here between these two teams, James, as they are both on the eastern side of the map. Both teams moving north and south, respectively, towards that 2-cap.
Yep, but Deja Vu, once again, just being very aggressive. They actually find Warbandor in the low ground there. A lot of shots going out onto him, bouncing a few shots off the upper plate of that IS-7. Ledif returning some shots towards Aggressor, and both teams just all together right now, firing back and forth, but 07 are coming out the worst. Some shots going on to Harmless and Durzel. Mako's taking a couple shots right there, and now Aggressor's going to poke over on the 6 line here, try to proxylite, find some of these guns. They haven't really spotted the bat shots in the back. They know where they are just because they're receiving fire from those angles, but they haven't been able to light them or return fire on a lot of the tanks for 07. And it's back and forth right now. HP's almost even, less than 150 HP separating the two.
Nice shot from Durzel onto that E5. Good pen, decent roll. Warbandor is going to come up and help help to defend that area. Nationwide taking a shot as well.
And it looks like 07 are just going to push up and over. Poor little aggressor's about to get run over by these bat chats.
Oh, but oh, look, only 10 seconds left on cap.
They're just going to push through. They need to find that reset. 6 seconds, 5 seconds, and there comes in the reset. That should be enough for them to clean this up. However, they're down on HP.
Yeah, Ledif had taken so much damage as it's static.
And Deja Vu, despite being in a very sketchy situation, managed to pick it up. They punished 07 for making that push onto cap. They knew that those guns from 07 had to go get those lights. The quick cap pressure coming out of Deja Vu.
That was actually a really clean play, I think, for Deja Vu.
Yep. They pinned him back into that corner, and they said, all right, we're going to turn the screws right now. We're going to put a ton of cap pressure on here. We're going to punish you guys as you come back to deal with it. They knew all their guns were in the south. Just overall, great play from Deja Vu. Very impressive. And 07 have 3 guns left alive. However, one of them's Fosta in that 1390, and the cap goes out. And that'll make it 4-2 in favor of Deja Vu.
This is the first time we've had a more than 1 game lead coming out for either one of these teams in the series of 6 games so far.
Yep, absolutely. And that's just Prok over now. We still... And remember, it's a best of 13 right now, so it's going to be the first to 7. Up next is going to be Ghost Town, which we talked about earlier. 07 didn't play Ghost Town at all this season. Not once.
Well, I mean, aside from what we just saw them play.
Well, exactly. That's my point. During the season itself, they didn't play it once until
you're absolutely right.
So if they either are just planning on improving what they ran earlier, or they have a second strat saved up for a map that they haven't played all season, we'll have to see.
To me, it looks like, and I could be wrong, but it kind of looks like 07 is out of gas right now if you look at them visually.
Well, the thing you have to remember, guys, is these players are coming from all over the country. A lot of them from the East Coast, so they're dealing with jet lag to a certain extent, the time change, long days of travel.
That's fair.
A whole lot of things.
That's a very fair assessment, yeah.
And then they already had that long series versus Eclipse, which that was going to be draining. You can't underestimate how...
Yeah. So earlier, actually, I criticized what Wallywhiff, to interrupt you real quick, I criticized what Wallywhiff said and said he was... he stated that he was kind of happy they lost 7 straight going into this series, and I can almost now understand exactly what he's talking about.
Yeah, well, to a certain extent, you can't underestimate how physically and mentally exhausting these matches can be, especially these long series, best of 13s.
Right.
It's a lot of games back and forth. These players are all focused 100%, paying attention to every little detail that they can. And it can be fairly tiring if you add in the jet lag, all the other things that they've been going through. It can definitely be just so exhausting in the long run. As you said, if you look over at those guys, that they all look tired. The bag's under Ledif's eyes right there. So definitely going to sleep when they get home tonight.
Well, they're not getting home tonight. I mean, they'll be getting
when they get back to their hotel tonight.
I was like, wait a second, they're not going anywhere.
And Deja Vu, a couple guys smiling there. And then you have 07 here, figuring out what they need to do.
So what would be your best advice right now for 07 if they could hear you?
They just need to keep playing their game, and they just need to play with a little bit more confidence. They just need to look at situations. They need to make a decision and just go for it and do it to their best ability. I'm not saying they just need to YOLO or anything, but I'm saying read the situation. Foster just needs to go, all right, guys, this is what we're doing. Go for it. Group up, focus their fire, and just play well. There's a lot of just indecision out of the team right now. We've been talking about it all day. They see the situations. They leave themselves in pretty good spots a lot of the time. But then when it comes down to it, whether it's time to make that push, there's a lot of different guns pushing in. They kind of hesitate, they split fire, and they don't clean up things as nicely as they should.
Yep, all right. Well, we are about to head now into the next map between Deja Vu and 07.
Ghost Town. The first absolutely symmetrical map, made especially for 7 versus 7 games. The teams start the battle on opposite sides. There are numerous ways to attack here. One of the bases is located in the central square, the other one at the top of the city. The hardest battles are usually fought for the top base, and this calls for the use of heavy tanks. Sometimes the teams choose fast tanks for spotting and base capturing.
Alrighty then. A 113, an IS-7, 3 50Bs, an AMX-30, and a Tier 9 Batchat coming out for Deja Vu.
Yep, and then over at 07, an IS-4, a 113, a T-57, 2 50Bs, and 2 Tier 9 Bats. Once again, nationwide in that AMX-30, going up to the A1 boost, getting up there where you can reset that north cap. The other benefit of being up there on the day 1 climb is he also will have shots towards the middle where aggressor's sitting, can cover him, and also shots down the 1 line. So it's a pretty useful position overall, unless they are late in the game and pushing over towards the 8-9 line, but at that point they can just group up, they have time to get him down, and they can wait for him. Cap pressure coming out of 07 right now. They've actually moved Commodore on towards the 2 cap in that IS-4. He's sitting up there up against the crane like he was earlier. Actually choosing to reverse side scrape this time, but aggressor finds the penetrating angle onto that back armor. So when you side scrape the normal way with your front armor towards the opponent, you have the benefit of your frontal armor being there. It's still going to be kind of difficult to pen. Now, there's a lot of different things that go into it depending upon the angles of your frontal armor and what spots they can see, but more often than not, you're going to be harder to penetrate, and it's going to be harder for them to put out damage onto you. When you reverse side scrape, you're definitely in a bit stronger position in the short term. You're going to have a better angle because of how some of these tanks have their turrets mounted onto them. An IS-4, for example, has that turret mounted very far forward in the tank. So when it's reverse side scraping, he actually has more workable angles when he's trying to find shots onto the tanks behind them. In this case in particular, the problem is, though, is if he just is a little bit off and just gives him a little bit of that back plate of that IS-4, it's pretty much an instant pen. You're not going to get any sort of lucky bounces out of that. Well, if you get a bounce, it's going to be lucky. So it's a hard skill to master. When you can do it right, it's beautiful. But so often, just like Commodore showed, just a little bit of a mistake, a little bit of a gap, and it's going to be an instant pen. And the other risk you have is that's your engine sitting right there, so there's every chance that they could either damage your engine or set you on fire.
That's not good. You don't want to be on fire.
Nope, not at all.
I mean, I guess unless you're into that sort of thing.
Being set on fire? I don't know. Anyone's into that sort of thing.
Stuntman.
I guess.
I was stretching, I'm sorry.
Commodore and Warband are just sitting up here, and it looks like 07 are repositioning for a push. They're grouping up a majority of their tanks towards the E6 corridor here. They're going to push and try to screen for that north cap right now, or they're just going to go for the brawl. I don't think they've quite figured out how many tanks are over towards that 1-2 line for Deja Vu. At this point, 07 just trying to get some intel, trying to poke around, see what sort of weakness they could find.
We still have a little bit of time left, James. I mean, 6 minutes.
Only 4 minutes gone.
Yeah, still 6:10 on the clock, so they have a decent amount of time here to work with.
So we're going to go ahead and have a listen in with 07 right now and figure out exactly what they're thinking and what they're trying to do to break this defense of Deja Vu.
Yeah, I do.
You want to be in camp? You want to be in camp?
Yeah, Warband, why don't you get in camp? Yep. I'm gonna run the building, I guess.
The only thing I missed is the very top left of A1 where he can't actually be.
Commodore, don't pull. Yeah, Commodore's gonna play in there.
Spotted. I'm spotted.
All right, this is risky, but we'll see if we can.
I'm aiming. You can get in that building.
There he is.
I have to back up. I don't have a shot.
Safe.
He's safe.
No shots.
Can you clip him? Can you clip him, Costa?
Careful with that. Wait, can you just? We need to like.
I'm putting additional cap pressure on. I'm putting my tank on cap.
That's not good.
It's 50B north.
50B.
Yeah, I mean we need tanks.
What about in? We need tanks in here. We need tanks in here.
IS-7 speaking.
Foster's pressuring their boost tanks, so they're gonna have to come in for like a kind of YOLO reset.
IS-7's pushing in.
I can if he comes around that corner, you hit a track shot, I will hit him. They're gonna put a 50B like right here, I think.
Yeah, I'm clipping.
Oh
Shit,
god, this gun is cancer. Dead.
You're alright.
Can you light him? Can you light him?
If he shoots Cam, you can get a shot on his lower plate.
AP behind.
Someone help. Yo, 50B swinging in. 50B swinging in. 50B swinging in.
I'm here. I'm ready to help.
We just literally just need to
get in
push
front
the
of them. Get in front of
Yeah,
them.
screen.
I tracked him.
Gonna reset him.
Screen.
Screen.
Screening him.
We got reset.
We got the reset. Just kill aggressor.
We're killing aggressor. We're killing aggressor.
Yep, kill aggressor.
Very
Static's clipping. Static's clipping.
Putin should be clipping. If not, maybe he has one
I have
more.
kill shot.
Nice.
Putin's clipping.
My MLP.
Yeah, Putin's clipping. Yeah, he's clipping.
Yeah, I'm gonna go look for nationwide just to get him off our ass.
Static's ammo racked permanently.
One more. Look for one more. Oh, he just
reloading.
He probably has about
Static has
25
15 seconds on this clip.
Watch out to your right.
Someone has to kill.
Wait, Warbetter, get behind me. Boston needs one more shot to kill. Get behind me.
I'm behind.
I'm not gonna push the
Static's loaded finally.
Nationwide's down.
Can we kill my little?
We got a lot of time.
Can we kill my little poop?
There's two. There's like a one shot and a two shot, and they're gonna come. They're coming behind. They're gonna peek you right there.
They're pushing Warbander. They're pushing our
I missed my little poop.
You guys got to
I'm coming. I'm collapsing. Both our auto loaders are coming.
Yeah, just wait. Just don't die.
We could get cap pressure with our low health tanks.
I'm on cap here. I have 3 loaded.
No, we need to kill.
There's a one shot and a two shot. You can just push into them.
Let's
push in.
3 shots. 3 shots.
You got a lot of health.
Yo, he's reloading. Chase is reloading. Chase is reloading.
Yeah, watch him.
I'm stopping them from running.
Oh, harmless. Don't waste any more.
I think you just go in, Letta. Find some shots. Yeah.
Look,
There's 50 to your right. Make it, Letta.
Yeah.
Shit, I missed harmless.
Get kill.
I missed harmless.
I got him.
Yeah, I got. Okay, good.
Don't fall.
Harmless fire too.
Act up's a one shot.
Load for
Static
back
has
tap.
one more
Load for back tap.
Nice.
Nice killing harmless. That kills.
I'm getting a cut.
Yeah, get on cap.
Nice. I'm back. I'm on
cap.
I'm on cap, guys.
And 07 pulling around back here. They felt it was even kind of a Hail Mary. They're like, we don't know if this will work.
Yeah.
They tried. They executed it pretty well.
But it worked.
Well, putting the tier 9 bat into the cubby there at C4 or C5 down there really kind of made it hard for Deja Vu to kind of move around. He was able to get some track shots, and he was also able to just keep things proxilate. And if they wanted to take the time to go get him out, it was just going to be time that 07 to really either work the cap or just find free damage onto those tanks. So very well set up attack out of 07. And I still feel this map's pretty defensively sided. So far this season, a lot of teams have definitely favored defense over offense. And so you have to wonder if trends follow, it could be 07 that pick up the next round win while they're on defense. And that would tie up the series at 4 apiece. And Milo Putin finally goes down to Warbander. And that brings it to 3-4.
All right, so 07 still definitely in there. They're not out of the fight just yet.
Well, they're showing some signs of life. They're showing the fights that they've shown all day. And just very consistent damage out of 07. Everyone above 1,000, but no one above 3K. So everyone on that team just doing their part, essentially. Everyone was able to be in the fight. Even Static, who was ammo racked pretty early in the game, still managed to get through a couple more clips, managed to put out some more damage, and really contribute there, which in itself is pretty impressive. Now, once again, no one above 3K, but you don't need anyone above 3K when everyone is doing their part, getting their shots off, and you're all shooting the same tanks, knocking down guns quickly.
Yeah, looking at the damage, Static, Commodore, and Warbander really put in the work. 27 and then 26 and 2,500 respectively. Really good stuff. Nice spread coming out the top. Damage farmers from 07.
Yep, absolutely. And then looking at the second page here, the biggest thing to note is going to be Durgel down there. That 50B fired 5 shots, only able to do 1 shot of damage. So just got isolated out very, very quickly by 07, which just kind of put the momentum in their favor, and they were able to keep going from that point on. And that's, that only happened once that push finally came out onto that north cap. And then EXO, doing 1,400 over 5 shots in the tier 9 bat. He was the one over in that cubby, so just doing what he could.
Right.
So even though he didn't do a whole lot of damage, it was very pivotal overall that in how his team played that round and the ability they had to push across the north there. Because without him there, that AMX 30 is going to have free roam in the north and just be able to get a lot of free damage off. And so they shut him down pretty quickly, and everything else just kind of pivoted around him.
Well, it is now going to be 07 with the chance here to defend. So this could be a tied game momentarily.
Yep, and looking at it, 07's defense on Ghost Town is non-existent other than what they've run today.
So, I mean, they're not doing too bad, I guess. Oh, man.
Deja Vu on Ghost Town, their offense is 6-5, so not terrible on this season. 6-5 on attack, still sitting above 500, so they have some strats they can run. They've at least played it during the season in a live match, which is the one benefit they have over 07 at this point, where their only other time playing in a live match this season was earlier today. So definitely an advantage they may have. Now, it's also a double-edged sword, though. While 07 don't have the practice executing in a live match on this map, but they have the benefit that everyone else is really going to struggle to be able to get their intel. They're not going to be able to go watch the VODs and figure out exactly what they've done and studied and try to find ways to counter them. So definitely a double-edged sword there. Looking at the lineups here, 07 a T57, 250Bs, a Batchat, an E100, a 113, and an RU-251. Meanwhile, Deja Vu, 3 T57s, an IS-7, a Grill 15, and 2 Tier 9 Batchats.
I think this is the first time I've ever seen more than 2 T57s on the same lineup.
It is a lot of raw DPM. T57, insanely high DPM. Those clips can be reloaded so fast. 1600 alpha in the clip that rolls average. So running a big group like these, if you can get an engagement where you can have someone in your face where you're not trying to play corner games, it can be very effective. Like we saw earlier on Muro against when 07 was playing Eclipse, they were able to just roll straight into Master Pupil and pretty much evaporated him in a matter of seconds, just because there's just so much clip potential and just so much raw alpha in those T57s. Chase Potato in the I-7, starting the cap pressure for Deja Vu. Now, Deja Vu's setup here is rather risky because they're very heavy in the south still, despite having the I-7 on the north cap. So essentially what they're trying to do is they're trying to get this rotate out of 07. They're trying to move them closer to this one cap to deal with it. And then they're going to try to flex in either straight into them or around them, behind them, and leave them in a very awkward situation. Now, the thing is, if 07 can recognize this and slow it down and just get the resets, then they're golden. If the other thing that can happen is if they recognize it, they can also just group up, since all their guns work together, and push into one of the two groups and push through that crossfire before it can really be established. Now, just a common rule, just in general, when you're surrounded, you just need to pick a direction and go. You never want to be in the middle of a crossfire. Wait, as I say that, EXO
oh my goodness,
out.
So much damage on EXO. And that's coming from the raw DPM you were talking about.
Yep, T57 and of Milo Putin and Harmless in that Tier 9 bat just got up there. Between the two of them, just able to knock him out very quickly. But what I was saying, though, is when you're surrounded in any sort of situation, you just want to pick a direction and go. Get all the guns as quickly as you can onto one side of you. It's still not a good situation. It means that the other team most likely has more guns alive than you do. But that's your best chance to survive that situation, is just group up and go.
Yeah, and at that point, James, let's get a listen in here with Deja Vu.
I kind of want to clip Chase. Okay?
Yeah.
Guys, need help with ladder.
Yeah, dude, Mac, what's your clip?
Flipping.
Oh, Turtle,
Just started.
that?
I don't know how I missed that.
Oh, dude.
I think it bounced up his upper hall, to be honest. That would have been a good shot, too.
Yeah, Putin's gonna die.
I need help with this 50 piece. I don't know what I would
Going around. I'm reloading.
What flipping?
I said that.
Yeah, but okay.
I didn't hear you. I
The
don't
other
know.
50Bs are reloading right now.
How much does the 57 have?
Nation, don't poke that,
oh
please.
my God.
What? Why? Why? Why?
Oh, I don't know why he was waiting there.
Guys, calm down. Mac, what do you full clip?
5 seconds.
Matches, go north.
Bad chat, go north.
Jesus fucking Christ.
Continue. We still can win easily. Matches, don't YOLO.
I'm just gonna clip a Warmatter.
I'm going north. Around.
Let's go.
Yo, let us one shot, 22 health. Get Letif.
Go to our bender.
Yeah, I got
it. Nice.
Chris will be reloading. 8, 9.
Run, Harmless, run.
Yeah.
Even 100, Harmless. Okay, nice.
Boston's coming in.
Even Harmless can cage you, Harmless. John.
Check, aggressive. I'll get Makos.
Well, yeah.
What's the RU at? One shot?
He's a one shot.
I'll go get him.
We need to play off a Chase. We need to play off a Chase because he's a nice.
57 is going to be loaded in 10 minutes or 10 seconds.
I'm gonna go get Foster.
Yeah.
Who's the E100?
Chase behind you.
Fuck Chase.
Who's the E100 looking at?
No,
Chase.
He's reloading, so you gotta kill him.
You gotta kill him.
I can't. Well, how? With what shots?
Run.
But I'm coming. I got 5 shots. That's like.
Okay, they have an E100 that's gonna shoot me in the ass and track
They
me
kill
probably.
50%.
Very close series there. However, 07 did exactly what they needed to do to keep that round in their favor. Very fortunate. Deja Vu just falling apart a little bit there, despite being in a decent position.
They were in a very good position to win this.
And just mismanagement of all the auto litters there, mistiming when they were all firing, not really able to coordinate up there, and that went from being almost 1,000 HP lead in favor of Deja Vu to 07 being up right now and about to close it out as soon as they managed to chase down Harmless. And like I said, that's going to even this series up at 4 apiece. Next map we have coming up is actually going to be Mines, and that's going to be Deja Vu on defense first when we get to it here in a second.
I mean, if you're looking at the way that these matches have gone, though, like, sure, it'll be Deja Vu first on Mines to be defense, but then they may win that, and then we may see the coming of 07 just win defense right after that. I mean, that's kind of been the trend of this whole set.
Yeah, absolutely, and just looking at the damage real quick, Static and Commodore just doing work that game. We'll get to that in a second. Overall on this map, though, it was just the positioning out of 07. They kept flexing around even though they were on defense. They didn't stay in one area too long. They just made Deja Vu keep moving around, and they made it very hard for them to pin any one tank down. And so despite...
Maybe 07 should actually have this map in their pool.
Well, I think they're going to think about it next season.
Because they're really not bad on it at all.
Yep. So another thing to think about is this is actually the first season where 07 hasn't been in the relegation zone. Last season they had to play in a relegation match to keep their spot. Season before they were relegated out. And so this is the first time where they've stayed in the Gold League for next season, and they're here in the playoffs while they do it. So, at least that's got to feel good for them. But you got to think they got to be eyeballing this third place. It's 4-4 right now. Remember, it's 1st to 7 because it is a best of 13.
Oh, wait a second here. EXO very early on taking a lot of damage. Down he goes.
So, just going to go over the damage here real quick. Static doing 3,500 damage in that game with 1 kill, and then Commodore doing 3,100 over 3. If you were paying attention to Commodore, he was snapping off shots on those U100s, barely aiming, and getting good pens out of them, which, if RNG is not kind to you, it can be very frustrating, but one of the shots onto the grill and the one onto Harmless at the very end. So just a little bit fortunate.
Yeah, and you saw, honestly, again, in that replay, that was a very good start for 07, and then it went right back to being a decent situation for Deja Vu, and then they weren't able to close it out.
Yeah, absolutely. But overall, let's start looking forward, though, because we're moving on to Mines, which that was 07 picked up the first win of the whole night tonight on Mines, and they played very smart. Even though they were kind of a little bit complacent, they made sure they kind of moved around every few minutes, and they overall just ran the clock out brilliantly earlier.
So we'll have to see how they do on Mines as we now head into the next map between Deja Vu and 07.
Mines, a small summertime map with lots of hills, rocks and other cover. The teams start the battle in the usual locations, but the base locations are different. One is located in the bottom part of the village, and the other one is in the water. One of the key objectives is the center hill. That's why the teams will often select fast vehicles and tanks with strong turrets for cover.
We are into battle number 9. 3 bat chats, 2 TVPs, 97 and a 113 coming out for 07. Deja Vu, 3 113s, 2 bat chats, 2 tier 9 bats. And right out of the gates, 07 taking the hill. Now, we'll have to see if 07 can recognize it, because the push is coming out from Deja Vu around behind. They could pincer out 07 very quickly here. 07 haven't spotted it yet, and they're going to be sitting here in a very brutal crossfire. Damage going out onto Static and Warbander. Warbander's about to get deleted. And this is looking very good for Deja Vu.
Wow. Fosta is going to trade Harmless, though, as he shoots and returns fire. Ledef now coming in for the flank. Wait a second, Exo here now on My Little Putin. Damage is going to come on in. Is he going to go down? Is he going to go down? He is. Nationwide in the background trades out Makos, but...
And it's actually 07 with the gun advantage right now. They managed to turn a bad situation into a savable one. And they're not out of the woods yet. They're still down on HP, but they have more guns alive.
Yeah, let's go ahead and get a listen in right now with 07.
I'm clipping.
20 seconds still, so I'm wrapping.
Yeah, we're just looking to disengage.
They're coming down.
They're gonna drop down to
Can you
kill
get
Cam.
base? Can you get
Should I
base?
do a boost?
I don't need to get base.
You don't want to brawl heavy.
Two 113s are going for you. Actually,
You
they
can't brawl
might.
three heavies by yourself.
Yo, I'm gonna kill the bat on hill.
Yeah, kill bat hill. Kill bat hill. Yo,
He's 2 hits. He's 2 hits.
Yeah,
They're
I
behind
got-
you. They're behind you, Static.
Warbanner and Camera, just do what you can to stay alive longer.
Yo, if that bat falls, I'll eventually kill him. I have 10.
113's tracked.
He's dropping. He's dropping.
I have 5.
You guys gotta do something fast. Camera's gonna need help.
Kill aggressor.
Track him. Nice.
tracked,
Kill
he's
him.
tracked. I've got kill shot.
Okay.
I'm looking for this bat chat.
I got it.
Excellent. Nice.
Good job.
Nice.
I'm clipping right now.
Okay, just water.
Kite.
Good shit.
Kite. We are really close though. Game is extremely close.
Yeah, we're very close. Yes.
It's just Exo. Don't let them get a tag on you right now.
I'm good. Can I do a boost? Some kind of boost?
Where do you want
We
this?
need cap pressure. That's the
We
thing.
need
If I go
Cap,
0
Cap,
line.
Cap,
Yeah, 0 line.
Take their
Cap
base.
with Cap put the 92 bats on the hill.
You want me to try and spot them going
No,
north or
can I
no?
do?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm
Can I
going
do
to
a
spot them
0
going
line
north.
boost? I do a 0 line boost, right?
We don't have time.
Why?
We need to
No,
find out
just
where they're at.
Cap with the 92
coming up.
bats on the hill because this guy's gonna block them going. They can either go from here or here, but they have no time to go
Yeah,
here.
if I'm here,
They could already be
I'll
up
shoot
here.
everything.
We dropped vision.
I know. I don't think I'm safe here. I
Yeah,
hit a tree too.
You gotta be in the ledge where you can fall off.
If I'm right here,
Yeah, Exo, do this right now.
yeah.
You can.
If
Do
I
it right
don't,
now.
if I'm up there, I spot everything for you.
You have one chance to do it.
Yo, I'm watching the south. I'm being
I
ready
got
to drop
7
off.
minutes. Well,
No, they're not gonna give us 7 minutes.
They're not going to give you 7 minutes.
There they are.
No,
there
they're
they
south.
are.
They're south.
Okay,
they're
good.
south.
That's actually
Let it. You don't need to feed them.
I did not get lit.
Okay, good.
Did you hit the boost?
Actually got the boost.
yeah, I got it.
Oh, you got it? Okay,
Beautiful,
perfect.
dude.
Perfect. Oh, they're
I'm
just
waiting.
pushing underneath. They're just pushing underneath.
I'm waiting here.
Can
I'm
you
just gonna
prox
get, I'm gonna get off cap. I'm gonna get
Yeah,
off
can
cap.
90 run?
Yeah, I'm getting off cap.
I think
I
they're
can
gonna
actually
go.
shoot them. I'm lit.
Yeah.
Exo, you're double tap. That's the problem. So.
Well, they have to aim their guns at top.
I don't see the other tank. I don't see the other tank.
Now. They're stuck.
I don't see
The
the
other
other
tank
tank.
is
Probably in
go-
front of
the
him.
other
The other
is-
tank's full health, right?
Yeah, he's 1800. There he is.
Oh,
There he
he's still there. He's still there.
They're trying to. They have one gun on you
They're
and
screwed.
their
They're
asses to
screwed.
you.
I'm going back on cap.
They're
How
both
many are-
looking
how
at
many
EXO
are-
now.
Both?
They're both
Okay.
looking EXO.
Okay.
Both
that's fine.
looking at you. Yeah.
Alright.
They just hit each other. Okay.
I'm gonna poke now. So when they
Careful, don't
poke
do-
again.
I have to
Don't-
get out of here.
I would clip heat if you.
Oh,
need
they're
to.
going.
I already
to
have
hill.
heat.
They're going.
They're gonna
pushing
try and
hill.
climb up. They're gonna try and climb up.
I have
How
shot.
do you want me
stay
to
up
play
there.
this?
They
You
have
can
shot.
stay up there.
Yo,
You can stay up there.
Exo, you can spot it though yourself, right?
I think my favorite thing of that whole little listen in is
Can I boost?
yeah, Exa just can I boost? Just like he's a kid in the candy shop. It's like, hey, we're on mines. Come on, guys. I want to go climb the hill. And this is his first shot on those 113s.
They were like, there's no time for that, and he still found a way to get up there.
It's going to make it hard for these 113s to kind of flex around. Ledef still up on the back end of the hill there where he can kind of just fall off if he needs to. They're just sitting here. Cap pressure building. 65 seconds left
Good on
cap.
Exo, though, seriously, to be able to do that boost in one shot. With all that pressure mounting on him.
Yep, now, boosting just to boost can be risky. However, the game plan that they have right now, setting up for this one cap play, it can work out. Now, the thing is Ledef needs to figure out where they are. And now Ledef spots them.
Oh, wait a second.
Exo spots them. Ledef pushes onto the hill now. Now they'll have a crossfire. Ledef can sit above them or even roll in behind if he wants and really clean these guys up. First shot out of Ledef misses Durgil.
Wow, in fact, Exo's out of a clip. Oh, but Fosta finding Durgil. Chase now being hit from the flank. He also has to worry about Foster in front of him. Exo is still reloading that clip, but there's only one shot left in Ledev now. Chase isn't at all in the best position. But Foster does get off of Cap. One shot left. He's going to fire it, and down he goes.
Foster not paying attention to his surroundings there. Didn't realize the tank corpse of that 113 was there. Tried to run, and you're not moving that thing.
Exo just took a shot.
But he finds the kill shot. And that puts it 5-4 in favor of 07.
These matches are just so close between these two teams.
Just back and forth stuff. Insane damage coming out of a few of the players of 07 in this game. We'll get to that once again in a second. But overall, 07 just... I like what they're doing right now. Now, there's still that little bit of hesitation within the team, not really agreeing necessarily on what to do right away. But at least this time, once they figure out what they wanted to do, they executed it very well. They were set up well. They had a good crossfire. They let Exo do his boost, so he's happy. He's up there. He's able to get some damage off. Ledev, though, was the real MVP of that match. Just able to constantly just harass the tanks from different angles, and just was able, early on, he was able to pump out a lot. And late, and you got to remember, early in this match, 07 almost got caught out by that random push from Deja Vu down across that 8-9 line. They came in, they tried to catch them out. 07 didn't even spot it until they were on top of them, and they lost tank for essentially free. And the fact that they were able to turn around, recover that match, and pick up the win is incredibly impressive.
Here we see the replay of the final few moments of this round.
So this is the moment that comebacks to haunt Fosta. Durgel goes down in that 113, and then in the second here, Chase Potato's going to push because he knows he has to get the reset. He can't sit there for too much longer because they'll just cap out. So he comes around the corner, and we actually won't see it, but he forgets that 113 corpse is there, and instead of being able to drive around him, you're not moving a 113 and a 1390.
And yeah, he goes down. Look at Ledev coming in huge for the team of 07. Well done. 3,900 damage.
Now, once again, it will be Deja Vu attacking on mines, and they will decide to bring that M4043. But looking at the damage here, Ledev just coming in huge, almost 4,000 damage. And then everything kind of dropping off a good bit after that. Exo was able to do decent damage. But then poor little Warbander just got caught out when they made that first push. Durgel and Maktab Putin in those tier 9s also got caught out by the bats on the hill for 07. Once they realized they were in behind, the two Batchets essentially flanked the flank, if you will.
Yeah.
They pushed around, and then once they realized they were there, they dropped in behind them, so now all of a sudden it's the Batchets that are surrounded. So it rather interesting situation how it played out, but it was good on 07 to recognize, all right, we're going to lose tanks, so we're going to make sure we get something out of it. In a worst-case situation, if you're going to lose something, you want to make sure that you get something out of it, even if it's just an even trade. Just so you can stay in the match, because if they hadn't been able to kill those tier 9 Batchets and they were able to just leave, that, you know, it's a gun or two down for 07 and nothing done in return. So good job there trading out the game. Looking at 07. Not sure what that is. I'm assuming that's supposed to be a TVP. 3 Batchets, an IS-7, a grill, and a 1390. Meanwhile, Deja Vu, 3 Batchets, 2 TVPs, a 113, and an M4043.
And that will be Chase. Chase is definitely the SPG or RD player for this team. There's no doubt about it.
Yep, Exo lit already. Harmless up on the hill. And look at Ledev getting very aggressive on the low ground there on the 9 line. And Fosta's all the way up in the bush by the 1 cap. So they're playing very aggressive towards this 8-9 line, making sure that Deja Vu don't even think about doing that 0 line boost, making sure that'll get punished. And so they're really forcing them over towards this 1-2 line play. To a certain extent, because of the climbs, it has become more important recently to deny that 9-0 line than to control the hill itself. Now, by controlling the hill, you can control the 0 line, which is what 07 are doing here. But we've seen other teams more recently play more of these 8-9 line defenses where they're very passive, just some tanks under the hill, tanks in base, just so they can deny that 0 line boost, because once you get a tank or two up there, like Batchat or the RE251s, they can really start to chip away at you. And so what that's done is that's forced Deja Vu to group up and go to the other side of the map. And now 07 can flex out of here and deal with that. And they don't have to worry about a tank being behind them or up on that 0 line cap.
are seeing a. I like the control here. Coming out from 07 as far as how they've kind of split the map for themselves.
Yeah, now they've struggled so far this season, off and on, and some of these strats have kind of been questionable for 07 throughout the season. But right now they're playing very smart. Everything they're doing is together as a team for the most part, and they're leaving themselves in good situations. Right now they're getting a lot of damage onto Mactap Putin. Ledev's going to do the climb flawlessly, and he's going to trade out Mactap Putin. Great pickup for 07. Great little play from Ledev there. Worked out fantastically for 07. They did lose Fosta
really
in the
healthy
process.
Damage onto Deja there.
Yep, trying to do the climb on the backside of this 4 line. Now, the thing they have to keep an eye on is Deja Vu do have a tank on Cap. Cap is down to 40 seconds.
Decent
so
cap pressure here.
07 need to find a solution on that relatively soon. However, with Ledev up at A4, they have a good amount of control in the north, and that'll make it a bit easier for them to get the resets. Now, the thing is having tanks in the north and the south can be dangerous because it leaves you susceptible to an overmatch.
It's okay, I've been struggling with words all day.
Yep, and a lot of damage going on to 07, but they finally find Durgel.
Yeah,
Cap at 15 seconds.
15 seconds. If they aren't careful here, they might just give this away with 10 seconds now. 9, 8, 7, 6. If there is a reset, we may go to comms here with Deja Vu, but there it is finally. So now, let's go to comms with Deja Vu and see what their plan B is.
We just lost a lot of health too.
Nice. Keep playing, guys.
Oh yeah, we're in there, we're in there.
We're fine, just
let it slow.
Nice.
Reloading.
Can we get the kill? Yes?
Nice.
Jojo, what's your reload?
That.
Oh,
harmless.
What? What's your
Plenty of
reload?
HP, guys.
30. 40 seconds?
30.
Reload?
30.
Guys, calm down, reload, and try to take the hill.
Full save. I need your help. Let's go. Kill TVP. Yeah. No, yes. Good stuff. Nations, maybe get on cap? No.
The back check and poke out shoot me. No, I can't.
Oh my god.
What are you doing? Animus?
We can't get away. Oh, nice. Okay.
Are you spotting this?
Okay, can we?
That TVP's flipping.
What can we do?
Nation, are you spotting this?
Yeah.
What can we do?
No, what? What's spotting what? The back jet just spotted
Take
me.
here.
3 down here, the back jet's still there. Both those back jets are still in the
We
same
could just
spots.
hop on cap, make them come out, get set up for shots on
Nation,
the
get some cap.
I can't. The back jet will poke out and just
No.
flip me.
You see where am I, Nation? Right
Okay,
behind
fine.
you.
Fine, you have to be able to punish it then. Mako's fine.
That.
Nice.
I have 2 by 0.
Harm,
Reloading
Harm,
again.
watch this TVP coming down this way.
The other
not
back
from that side, not from that side, not from
It's
that side.
easy,
This
guys.
back
Please.
jet can still shoot me though.
Don't throw
From the
it,
bush,
okay?
from the bush, Harm.
Yeah,
I got
yeah,
lit.
yeah.
Like,
He just poked it. Back jet poke, he's there. Nice, we both hit him. Now I got
You're
damage
okay,
on
you're
spawning,
okay.
you hit him.
The TVP is
definitely
just
hit him.
chilling in here. Arm, back up into that bush behind you and just chill and make sure that TVP doesn't come down.
Exo can't reset me
You're
from there.
You're dark.
He's out in the bush.
Sit right there. Make sure you can spot the top of the hill.
Dude, I wonder if we should go in that little
Nation, I'm reloading.
Okay.
Guys, I'm reloading, okay?
Harm, do you have shots on the spat if he pokes? He should be a one-shot.
Reloading.
Putin, watch this line because
Yeah,
PvP might come for Harm.
Down.
If he's not already coming.
The back jet, I'm like 90% sure is a one-shot.
Will you light him Harm, since he can't see this anyway, I would watch your back.
Putin's got it.
Well, I don't know.
Got it.
Can he see
I'm
you?
worried
will
about-
absolutely light something. anything going to get harmed.
Exo can reset me because this bat chat might just spot me and this bat chat will just reset me.
Spot him in that bush.
I won't spot him unless he fires.
There you go.
That's that TVP.
Oh, the gun elevation. Here you go, just chill.
Don't let him do it. Harm, you need to get around. Get around. Forward, forward. That's okay. They don't see you right now. Just don't let him spot you.
Chill, just chill.
Kill him together.
Nice RNG, finally.
So Deja Vu should be able to even this series up. They're in a pretty good position right now. A lot of indecision between Deja Vu about how they should set up, but ultimately they made it work. And 07 left themselves in a pretty awkward situation early on, and Deja Vu were able to exploit it. Earlier I was talking about before this whole push started, or when they pushed around in the north, I said that they kind of left themselves susceptible to an overmatch. And what I mean by that is they were so spread out across the map. They had tanks in the north, but they left the grill down in the south, and they only had the heavy tanks sitting at F6 to really cover them. And so what happened was exactly what I was talking about earlier when I said, when you're being surrounded, the best thing you can do is just group up and push one direction. That's exactly what Deja Vu did to get out of that. They said, all right, well, they're on both sides of us, so let's just take majority of our tanks towards one. They found the overmatch on the grill. They pushed into him. They took him down, and they were able to work the heavy tank down, and all of a sudden it was just Batchat's 407 that were left in the north that they were able to just leave pulleyed and or leave surrounded essentially and pinned in and just cleaned them up at that point.
James, there is now yet another tie between these two teams. It's 5-5. As I said before, this game would probably go the distance, and it absolutely has.
Yep, well, we're going to be going on to Ruinberg next, and that's going to leave Prok as our tiebreaker at the end of this series.
If we make it there.
If we make it there, we'll look at it as Ruinberg.
And we already know how 07 felt about Muro, so you can imagine how they feel about Ruinberg.
So Ruinberg, you know, with it being so defensively sided, you would have to see that, especially between two teams as even as this, going 1-1. So if they split that 1-1, that's gonna make it 6 apiece, and then that will make it so it's decided on Prokhorovka.
Well, here comes Ledev doing that boost by himself. This was so sick.
This in itself was a great play for 07, but where it went wrong is, if you pay attention to the minimap, look at how split Warbander in that grill is right now. It's moments later, once they kind of shift towards the north, where those Batchats realize he's down there relatively unsupported, just static up on the hill. It's able to cover him, and they're able to push in, take him out, and from there it just kind of snowballs out for 07, and they were never really able to get back into that series. Mile Putin just doing 4K damage overall in the series, and then Aggressor doing 3K, not bad. Ledev doing 2,500, and then it drops off pretty heavily after that for 07. Static in that TVP only able to do 1,300.
Yeah, overall, it's kind of been back and forth like this, though. I mean, to be fair, sometimes when we see a team lose a round, they'll still have really good damage, but in this case, between these two teams of the series so far, we've seen the losing team just significantly lower on damage, which is not always the case. Sometimes we see damage pretty even for both teams, even in a loss situation. Not so much with 07 and Deja Vu.
Yep, so we actually have a timeout coming out of Deja Vu right now, so they're going to be figuring out what they're going to be doing on Ruinberg. The timeout is over now, so they're going to be getting into their final prep here in a second, as soon as they get their headsets back on. Now it's going to be 07 on defense first. So as long as they can pick this up, that's at least going to force overtime. If not, set up 07 to possibly get a win while attacking on Ruinberg. And
sure.
Now, like we talked about earlier, that's no easy task. A lot of things have to go right for that to happen. More often than not, like I've said all season, to win on attack on Ruinberg, more often than not, it's the other team making a mistake first that allows you to win. If they play it very compact, they don't make any mistakes, they don't give you anything for free, it's so hard to push into that town or even into the north and really get a win while attacking on Ruinberg. The North Village, we used to see a lot of plays towards the north, teams just pushing heavy tanks onto the 1 cap and then stuff in towards A6. And then we saw teams start countering that, bringing IS-4s and 113s into that village up there. And then teams realized, all right, well, we can't just push straight into here, so we have to do something else. And then they started trying to play the south cap and then flexing into the north. But because you can just set a majority of your tanks along that zero line, especially on the north end of the Delta Village, it makes it so easy to flex around if you're on defense. And it also makes it very easy to quickly get back to the north cap if you need to as well and have a good crossfire. And so often we see stuff from that zero line on the north end of the Delta Village able to shoot the cross as they push into that A6 village. So pretty much from any way, they're just very quickly ready to just get to either side and put out a lot of damage as a defender.
All right, well, let's find out what's going to happen here and potentially the final map between these two teams.
Ruinberg, a mixed-type map. The defending team starts the battle on the green, and the attacking team starts at the centre square of the town. Bases are located quite far from each other. Both bases are better controlled from the village when playing a heavy setup. It's better to attack the first base through the top direction with the help of several well-armoured heavy tanks. For the attack on the second base, it's better to use a more mobile setup and either play through the centre or split forces. In general, the map is not easy to play on. Teams often use blind shots and risky shifting of the forces from one flank to another.
And looking at the lineups coming in here, 07 a 215B, two 113s, 250Bs, WZ111, and a Batchat AP. Deja Vu, three 113s, 250Bs, a Batchat, and a T54 lightweight.
Have we seen the WZ111 Model 1 through?
We saw one earlier today. We saw it a couple times throughout the season, but this is we've definitely seen it more today than we did during the majority of the season. It's a decent Tier 9 heavy. More often than not, teams tend to favor the T10, and they're pretty similar. I imagine in this case, Warband is just a matter of personal preference, slightly different armor profiles. The WZ has the pike nose as opposed to the T10 has the flat frontal plate. Gun handling's roughly the same. So I really have to imagine it just comes down to personal preference at the end of the day.
Magtap Putin is just got 1 foot in the door, if you know what I'm saying.
I don't even know if I give him that much.
Yeah.
They started to open the door and shut it on his face.
That's, you're right, you're right.
And Commodore almost finished him off, but hit the rock there. He's down to a 1-shot. Now he's just sitting in the bush trying to be passive. I wonder if they'll think to blind fire it here soon. Now the Warbander is actually the biggest problem here because he could be isolated very quickly by Deja Vu, and that would leave 07 in a very awkward situation. They have these 50Bs in the north ready to push in, and only the one tank over of Static at a 7 ready to cover him, but I don't know that's going to be enough to stop them from pushing on to Warbander. And these 113s are working this 6 line very aggressively, trying to find shots onto him. The 50Bs are actually going to choose not to take that north engagement. They're going to back off and try to start working this F line.
A lot of posturing here coming out from both teams. Again, Ruinberg is a very defensively heavily favored map.
Yeah, definitely. A little bit of damage going on to 07, but they're still in a pretty good situation. Putting out a lot of damage right now onto the 50Bs in that F line. They tried to get up onto this ramp here. Another one's Harmless is hugging that wall and gonna back off into this cubby here in a second. They're just bleeding a lot of HP. They're down by about 2,000 at this point. It's gonna make it very hard for them to move. Kind of surprised they haven't committed into the 07, that is, have committed into the south and not taken out Magtap Putin yet. They knew he was down to a 1-shotter. Aggressor has rotated over to try to help him out. However, those two are relatively isolated from the rest of their team, so if 07 recognize it, they could pick him up pretty easily.
Yeah, 07 is actually very slowly picking apart the entire offense here of Deja Vu. So that being said, why don't we get a little listening and see how the mindset's going into it with 07.
If he pushes into you, Cam, I'm here to cover you.
We're good, yeah. We're good if he pushes you.
I'm clipping.
Remember, Ledif has a dead commander.
Yo, Nationwide's pushing up. Nationwide, really you get shots at Nationwide right now, Cam.
Yeah, this guy. They're gonna just push Cam, and we need to be ready for it, that's all.
Yeah, XO, where are you?
I am clipping. I'm coming to you.
Still
I
have
lost sight on Nationwide. Yo, 113's pushing Cam. Here they come, here they come.
Yeah, look for that
He's
one.
going up so aggro.
10 seconds. 10 seconds. 8.
Warbander, I'm coming to you, man. They're not going to be able to push north.
Well, they have 2 clips here. I'm not sure if it's a good option.
You want
All
to
right, I
watch
can
mid?
stay back then.
Well, no, don't watch them shooting you mid.
Like you can
remember
probably
they
join.
have a boost.
You can probably join
the ramp. Yeah.
Foster, maybe Static should join you up
That's
here.
2 on Cap. Yeah. The 113 got to come here with the WZ right now.
Oh,
okay.
To the WZ.
There's 2 on 2 Cap.
Cam, you can poke.
Cam can
Yeah, you
poke.
can try. I can't see anything.
Yo, I can poke for the light. Hold on.
Do you want?
I'm gonna poke this corner.
Do you want us to move aggressively here?
I think it's in a bush. I think that
bottom left of it. Bottom left or something.
Yeah. It's in like the top sector of the square.
I'm spotted. They have a 50B here.
Can we pull out and kill the 50Bs?
We need to, Foster, you're gonna need to get a light here.
They're up,
they are.
up.
Cam, reset.
Yeah, I got the spot.
Push. Are we pushing now?
Yeah.
I got that. This guy's in the open.
One of them hasn't been damaged yet. One of them still has cap points, like a lot.
If you guys can just deal with that, I have the 50 Bs trapped.
Head up. Full reset. Can we finish at 113 on the cap?
Yeah, hold on, I'm moving in.
I'm clipping.
As long as we don't feed their 50 Bs. Shit.
Rip.
This 113 is trying to leave.
Camera, just keep looking for
Static.
working them.
50B,
I'm
what
trying.
the fuck?
Hold on.
I was trying to get a reset if I had
Camera's
to.
just working them.
We don't need a reset.
They're gonna have 3 on. They have 3 on.
We have so much time.
Or just hold your HP, basically.
It's a lightweight that's one shot hiding.
Oh, north.
50B.
Alright, I'm gonna light the cap. Cam, be ready to shoot
Zach has
it.
to push it on him.
I can just drive
Zach,
across.
he only has 2 more shell static.
I know.
Can you
I've
get a
used my
kill
rep
shot,
kit.
Cam?
Cam, can you just shoot? Cam, can you just brawl this guy? I don't know.
Aggressor
I'm
fire,
gonna
yeah,
push.
HE.
I'm
Yo,
perma-wrecked.
Cam, try brawling this guy. I'm going across.
Static is perma-wrecked.
Hold on. I'll HE him.
Dude,
kill him.
Can anyone kill Aggressor?
Camdar, can you just push aggressor right now?
Yep, I'm going in. We got reset.
Exo's just dying.
Yeah.
Oh, should the aggressor should be pushed.
Cam's got aggressor.
I can't do anything.
Yeah,
this 50B is gonna come kill me.
Yeah, Exo, can you rotate to help Steve? Maybe you'll have a clip in time.
I'll get a shell.
I have 9.
How 07 have almost managed to lose this, I don't know yet. They're still in it, but not looking good. They were up by so much HP at one point.
Yeah,
but
it was looking like 07's game.
The indecision to push it and take those guns out when they knew they had both the overmatch and the HP advantage has really hurt them. Now it's all down to Camador versus 3. Can he make this work? 250 Bs, one of them is a one-shotter. He has 3 minutes he has to hold off Cap.
It is just
Can
this
he
one
do this?
tank. I mean, it's not impossible.
You know, we said earlier in this game the 1v5s were near impossible. This is a 1v3. This is going to be pretty difficult in itself just because Camador's all left alone. Now, Harmless is a one-shotter. If you can take him down quickly, he stands a chance. With that 113 having a 440 alpha damage gun, it would need 2 shots into that other 50B to get him down, at least, and that's if he rolls average on both. And even then, he'd probably need a high roll. Well, a high roll on one and average on the other. If you lows roll, then he's going to need a 3rd shot. Now, he does get a 1 reset. Now, he needs to be very careful with his HP, get what resets he can, and just slow it down.
Oh, another shot now. This is looking like it is.
Not a whole lot of options
possible.
left for 07, and that's going to be Deja Vu picking up a win on defense, or on attack on Ruinberg.
And you argued that if they won this, they should be posturing themselves to win this entire series.
Well, I would say at 07, if they could pick up the defense, then it would be easy for them. At this point, now they have to win an attack on Ruinberg.
Exactly. Deja Vu is now on defense with the set point.
Yep, on match point right now. And at that point, once again, I said earlier that it really comes down to the defensive side making some mistakes, and they threw away the advantage they have. They were indecisive. We've talked about it multiple times so far this show, where 07 have just kind of been a little bit indecisive, and they kind of lack that killer instinct. They don't really find that blood in the water till it's too late. And in this case, they were up. They had the advantage. They could have just pushed in, and instead they just laid back. They let Milo Putin just put up 4,700 damage, the most damage we've seen all day. Just able to keep his gun firing, do a lot of damage.
Wait, did we see 4,900 today? I could be wrong, but I could have sworn. Maybe it was 3,900. Either well, that's even still 47. That's ridiculous damage.
Yeah, it's a lot of damage, and then Harmless coming in there 3,100, Aggressor at 3K. So they're actually able to do a lot, and so the fact that they were able to claw back into that really comes down to 07 just being a little bit sloppy, giving them a lot of HP and tanks they didn't need to give them. They just grouped up, made a decisive push, cleaned out the tanks on Cap all in one go, while the tanks in the middle road were isolated. This could have been a completely different game.
Yeah, and speaking of 07, they actually did just call a timeout as well.
Yep, so they're going to take their time.
Do you think we'll finally see a team pull away, or will it be once again tied 6-6 here in this series, James?
Attacking on Ruinberg, like we said earlier, is no small task. So their backs are really going to be up against the wall right now. Now, we did just watch Deja Vu win on attack, so anything's
possible. I mean, that's arguably more so 07 making terrible mistakes.
Yeah. Now, the thing is Deja Vu have been making very similar mistakes throughout tonight, so they by no means are perfect. So it's not without the real possibility for one of them to make a mistake themselves and give this match to 07. If 07 can win this right now, you'd have to favor them in the tiebreakers because they'd have the momentum going into that tiebreaker, which once again is going to be Prokhorovka.
That's true. That's very true. And now we are potentially, in fact, we are 1 minute out from maybe the final round in this series, James.
Yep. Trying to look at it right now. It looks like, I have to confirm, but it looks like it would be 07 with the fastest attack so far today. So if they can force overtime, it would be 07 that would get to pick the side on Prokhorovka. But we have to get there first. They need to win on attack on Ruinberg right now. They called their timeout in. They took the extra second to discuss what they want to do. Picking their tanks right now. 50 seconds left on the countdown timer, so they're going to be getting underway. Just a few more seconds. Now, personally, you got to look at how that match played out. They set up very early. They got the free pick onto Milo Putin. It wasn't necessarily, or not Milo Putin, Maktat Putin. It wasn't necessarily a free pick, but they put him down to like 17 HP within the first opening minute of the game.
Yeah, he was pretty much out the door.
And after they spotted the 50Bs in the middle road and they knew the majority of the heavies were in the middle line where they couldn't really shoot the south, they still hesitated to dump over, take that one shot out, and take control of the south end of the map there. They hesitated, and they just played too cautiously. And if they had done that, they'd taken more control. They could have really pinned the guns from Deja Vu into that 6th line. And at that point, it would have been just been shooting fish in a barrel, essentially, at that point. But they hesitated. They let him stay alive for a while. They let the guns in the middle road do a lot more damage than they should. They played slow corner games with tanks in a good position. And they, Deja Vu forced them to drive to spots where they could get shot from cap, really putting the pressure to 07, and it's 07 that just didn't recognize it soon enough, didn't commit. Just that hesitation. They didn't want to commit. They didn't want to get into that cap, and that just caused too many problems for them. And Deja Vu were able to pick the round up.
All right, well, looking at the lineup, it's going to be 250Bs, 2 113s, a TVP, a Batchat, a T54 lightweight coming out for Deja Vu, and then 3 113s, a 50B, a Batchat, and 2 Tier 9 Batchats for 07.
Now looking at the setups here, Deja Vu running a very similar setup to what 07 did, if not almost identical. Most of their tanks towards the Delta village, 1 tank up in the A7 village, this time on the south end of the road there where he's hold down, and then 1 heavy tank of Durgel in the 113 sitting there along the 6th line. Now they do have Chase Potato sitting there in the window, and that T-54 lightweight takes a lot of damage, but they pick off Basta, and they don't even get the kill onto Chase.
Just like that.
And now 07 pushing further in the south. Exo sitting there across the F line trying to find some shots. Static choosing to back off in the north right now. Now HP is only slightly in favor of Deja Vu.
Chase is going to get chased down. I did not mean to do that. By Ledif in the 113.
Yep, a lot of damage going off onto 07 here. They committed to kill Chase, and the guns were set up to punish for Deja Vu. Both harmless in the north at A7, and Durgel they're just ready to punish them. And 07 are down by about 3,000 HP right now.
Yep, and let's get a listen in here with Deja Vu and potentially the final round of the series.
All we have to do is not bleed.
Yep, we're doing good right now. Doing good.
I mean, we're in a really good spot now. They have to come into here. We have 2 down the 0 line.
Yeah, just don't bleed. Don't show.
Just wait for the 50
I'm spotted. I got spotted, so I didn't.
I'm not. So they only know 1 tank is here. So let's use that. I'm not gonna show myself just yet.
This AP is still in the north.
They're moving.
Should be from B2.
I think they're gonna try and push.
Watch out, watch out, watch out.
Nice shot, dude.
Yeah, get ready for this now.
Yeah, they're moving. They're moving. Farm Exa.
Putin, get out.
Cool, Mac.
Yeah,
My little
no,
get blocked, Exo. Waiting for that bitch.
Oh shit, that's
here it is.
I got spotted. I got spotted.
Bats.
I got spotted. Can we kill this?
Get Warbender.
We're really split right now.
Fuck, I shouldn't have done that.
okay.
Be careful, be careful, be careful.
We still got an unspotted bat.
Oh no, guys.
We just spotted.
Mac, just play it safe.
I'm trying.
Nah, I shouldn't have fucking went there.
Let it is just wide open right now.
Okay,
Nation.
Oh shit. No, because there's 50B. I'm gonna go
They
for
might be.
Warbender.
They might be coming in from
Yeah,
you.
okay, I'm waiting for that. Yeah.
How much HP is the 50B on?
He's on 500.
Full. Oh,
he's on 500.
I'm right
No,
at
pull
the
back,
red
pull
line.
back, pull back, pull back.
I'm right
Pull
at
back.
the red line.
Pull
so-
back. We get a crossfire with this, that's what we'll win with. Harmless, be careful.
Okay, I'm loaded. I'm okay
just
here,
go
Nation.
get that. Go get that, Dirtle. You fired 2? Okay.
Yep.
Alright, Harmless, you need to go.
Push across.
Harmless,
Push
you need to
across.
go.
Yes.
No,
Yes.
I'm killing Cap. Dirgel.
I'm already committed.
Dirgel, get the 50 shot.
I get the 50B.
Get
I
this.
got 50B.
You come down there.
Mac,
He's
he's
out.
out,
He's
Mac.
out. I have the 50B.
I have 14 seconds. I'm coming up to support Mac.
It's okay. I got it.
You got him. You got him. I
Nice.
need one
Attempt
shot.
to-
Yes.
Oh,
Beautiful.
7 seconds. I can flip into Camador. I got
Dirgel
Camador in 6
behind you.
seconds.
I got
Dirgel
one
behind
shot.
you.
I got
Aiming it.
Camador in 4 seconds. I got him. I got him in 4 seconds.
Track.
Keep him there. I'll get him. I got
Nice.
him. Mine.
Beautiful. Nice, stop.
Good job,
Take it
guys.
safe, take it safe. Stay where we're at.
Wow. I'm spotted.
Good
Wait,
on
what?
MRI.
Dude, I'm just gonna go back and Delta Blue.
And Deja Vu are going to pick up the series 7-5, just short of overtime. They just need to hunt down Makos, who's only on 600 HP and a dead gunner. They still have 4 guns alive. Deja Vu almost did what 07 did the round before and threw it away. At one point, 07 had 2 extra guns alive, but they didn't have the HP. And Deja Vu did just what they needed to do, picked up some kills quickly, took the guns out of the fight, and they were able to clean up this series. That's going to make it so Deja Vu secure 3rd place overall on the season. They walk away with $45,000. Their heads held high. They still managed to pick something up. And it's not for 07's lack of trying. They played so well throughout today. They had a good match versus Eclipse. Just came up a little bit short. They made Deja Vu work for this win. They just back and forth series. 07 had the lead a couple of times. Deja Vu had the lead a couple of times.
Yeah, it was very back and forth, like
just
you said.
Back and forth, and now Deja Vu able to walk away with the win.
It was actually a 4-2 lead in favor of 07 at one point.
You know, but and mad props to Deja Vu just to have this endurance. They've had a long day already.
Yeah.
Oh, both these teams. But Deja Vu.
You could argue 07 had a longer day, but at the same time, I mean, they battled so hard against Eclipse as well.
Yeah, definitely. Looking at it, though, Deja Vu, remember, they only had a 15-minute break between their matches.
Yeah.
At least 07 had time to go sit down and kind of break down some of their strats and see what went wrong. And they had that extra little bit of a breather. 07 or Deja Vu, they had to play 1 match. Then they had only a short break. They didn't really have that breather. They had to go right into another series. And this was one long marathon.
Yeah.
Back and forth.
Definitely.
And it was just Deja Vu at the end that managed to pick it up. Now you have to feel bad for 07 because a couple of the things that went wrong there were definitely their own fault to a certain extent.
No, absolutely.
Some decision there. They gave away a couple of rounds. They very easily could have won the series overall, and no one to blame but themselves at the end of the day.
But look at Aggressor coming in huge for Deja Vu.
2,600 damage, Exo 2,400 damage, Malputin 24, Ledith, Camador doing pretty well. Then Harmless and Nationwide picking it up for Deja Vu. Not too bad overall. Look at the total shots fired, though, out of Exo. 147, and Aggressor doing 167. A lot of blind fire to both of them. And then on the second page here, even Chase Potato breaking 10K, and Fosta only
he almost
76
broke 10K,
damage short of doing 10K himself. So
that's what happens when you play almost 13 games, you know?
Yep, exactly. Just so well overall on the night. So you kind of have to feel bad a little bit for 07, but like I said, at the end of the day, a couple of their own mistakes cost them, and a couple individual mistakes within the team, and that could have, if they hadn't made those, it could have been their win right now.
Yeah, well, congratulations as we now head on stage to Tommy with Deja Vu and Wally with.
Wally with is right here, and I can say it's a pretty happy player I have beside me. What was the deciding factor in this game as you see it?
Honestly, it was, if I'm going to be honest, like the first tank to get thrown away, the other team won. Like the last 6 matches, the first tank to die, that team won for no reason. I'm just astounded that match even ended. I don't even know. I got no words.
If anyone had told you before this season that you would finish as the 3rd best in the league, what have you told them?
I said they were lying, honestly. I was like, no, we're 7th place, guaranteed. We got that spot perfectly, but 3rd, hey, I'll take it. It's great.
And you're still a really young team. What's the limit for this team now? I guess we're going to see you next season in the grand finals too, right?
Yeah, hopefully. I mean, if we get our teamwork a little bit better, work on strats, team play, I mean, who knows where we could be. We might be first some season. Never know.
Let's rewatch one of those deciding moments from this match, and I'll catch up with Foster on the other side.
Get a crossfire with this. That's what we'll win with. Nice. Must be careful.
Okay, I'm loaded. I'm
Durgel,
okay
just
here,
go get that. Go get that, Durgel. You fired 2?
Okay. Yep.
Harmless, you need to go.
Push across. Push across.
Yes.
Durgel, killing cap. Durgel.
I'm already committed.
Durgel, get the 50 shot.
I'll get the 50B. I got 50B.
You come down.
He's out. I have the 50B.
I have 14 seconds. I'm coming up to support Mac.
It's okay. I got it.
You got him. You got him.
I
I did one shot. Yes.
Oh,
beautiful.
7 seconds. I can flip into Camador.
Durgel behind you.
I got
Durgel
one
behind
shot.
I got Camador.
And of course, now I'm with a really disappointed Foster. If you had to sum up the performance of your team in this fight for third place, how would that be?
Pretty brutal. Mentally devastating. Just throwing games away left and right. And we didn't need to.
We heard the caster speculate that you seemed a bit tired. Maybe it's been a long day. Could you feel that at all on the team or on yourself?
I mean, yeah, definitely it's been tiring, just, hanging around and everything. I'm not used to this heat in California either, so it just, wears me down real quick. But I think it goes for everyone.
And as we talked about at the beginning of the day, you're kind of new to this whole live tournament thing. Can you take some lessons from today that you can use moving forward?
Yeah, definitely. I think we're pretty pleased just to have been here. It's been fun, good experience. Make a little more money as well, just, placing fourth. But it's been a good season. We're pretty happy.
And thank you, Foster. And I can tell you guys at home that on the couch I have a really disappointed Meadowhead and a Beatshead who's ready to break down this match after a short break. See you soon.